Chapter 388. Before, there was no comparison, so they didn't know what the benefits of passing through the small door were. Now, it was immediately reflected, and they couldn't continue forward. Although they didn't know what treasures were inside, the best treasures were often in the deepest part, which meant that they couldn't enter and get better treasures. And this best treasure was going to be obtained by an unknown kid, which made Wang Menglong go crazy with jealousy. "What's going on? You really passed the unknown difficulty?" Wang Menglong shouted from behind. "If I don't pass, can I come in? If you have the ability, why don't you try coming in with me?" Yun turned his head to look at him, threw a sentence, and continued to walk forward. Wang Menglong was about to explode with anger, and he wanted to rush over angrily, but in front of him was a transparent wall, and he couldn't move even half a step forward. "Good boy, you wait for me, don't come out if you have the guts." Wang Menglong coldly snorted, randomly chose a path and walked in, not continuing to stay here. Hua Xian paused, but still couldn't help but ask, "Young master, may I ask, is the last trial difficult?" Yun paused and finally turned his head to her and said, 9 out of 10. This was not nonsense. If it wasn't for his strength being strong enough, and his strength being strengthened many times, he really couldn't deal with Yuan Qinglong. Yuan Qinglong could be described as perfect in all aspects, and he was able to fight against someone at the Void Spirit stage. Wasn't this level of 9 out of 10? "Thank you." After Hua Xiang thanked him, her clothes fluttered slightly, and she chose one of the paths, which was completely different from the one Wang Menglong chose. There were 2 paths for each level, and it could be said that it was a choice of 2. He, who had the Coiling Dragon treasure map, clearly knew which path would have better treasures, but he had to admit that there was basically no danger here. After going through layers of life and death trials, if he had to continue again, he would really be playing with people to death. Yun looked at her back as she left, turned his head again, and walked into the depths. After passing through a long corridor, a huge light curtain came into view, and he couldn't see anything from here. Without hesitation, he stepped into the light screen and completely disappeared from this space. When he walked out, he saw dozens of passages in front of him. He didn't know where each passage led to. In fact, every path was the correct path, and they all led to places with treasures. However, treasures were also divided into different grades, and whether or not one could be chosen depended entirely on one's own ability. Of course, this had nothing to do with Yun, because he had the Coiling Dragon treasure map in his possession. It was an existence that violated the rules here, and it clearly pointed out which path was correct. "Take this one." Yun took out the Coiling Dragon treasure map, and it immediately showed him which path to take. It even led him forward, so he didn't have to worry about taking the wrong path. Shortly after, he chose one of the paths and immediately walked in. After walking in, the path behind him immediately disappeared. There was no doubt that there was no room for regret once they chose that path. They could only walk in that direction. "I wonder what kind of treasure it will be?" Yun's heart was filled with anticipation. The Coiling Dragon treasure map didn't record any treasures, and it only meant that the treasures here were the best. As for how good they were, it wasn't indicated. After passing through a long corridor, he took a step forward, and what came into view was a huge dragon body coiled up in front of him. However, it wasn't a real dragon, but a skeleton. It was a huge dragon skeleton, and it was quite complete. As soon as he entered, a wave of dragon might hit him head-on, and the pressure doubled. It was obvious that this dragon skeleton's cultivation was quite terrifying when it was alive. It was so terrifying that it could crush him to death with just its aura. However, no matter how powerful the dragon god was, he was still dead. This meant that there was no eternal life, including the dragon clan. After so many years, someone finally came. At this moment, a sigh came from the side, but it was more of a pity and a sad tone. Yun turned around and saw a handsome man meditating beside him. His face looked pale, and his eyes were full of helplessness. After taking a closer look, Yun was stunned. Emperor Rinlong? The handsome man in front of him looked a bit like Rinjiro. Judging from the disappearance of the man, this handsome man in front of him was Rinlong. I haven't heard this name for many years. I am indeed Emperor Rinlong. I thought people had forgotten about me, Renlong shook his head and smiled bitterly. But from today onwards, you will be with me for the rest of my life. Why do you say that? Yi Tianyun frowned. As long as we don't subdue this sky dragon, we won't be able to get out. The treasure is right in front of us, but we can't have it. How scary is that? Renlong shook his head. Yi Tianyun looked around, and there really was no other exit. Apart from the sky dragon skeleton in front of him, there was nothing else. If he wanted to get out, he would have to subdue the sky dragon skeleton first. The treasure was so huge that even Renlong couldn't subdue it. One could only imagine how terrifying it was. As expected of Emperor Renlong. To be able to become an emperor, you must be blessed with luck. There are so many paths, but you chose this one. Yi Tianyun nodded, and he was impressed. To be able to become an emperor, one must be blessed with luck. Therefore, choosing this one out of so many paths was not a problem. The problem was that Renlong was blessed with luck, and he was not strong enough to subdue the sky dragon skeleton. Emperor Ren, did you pass through the smallest door to get here? Yi Tianyun asked. Of course. If I didn't pass through that door, I'm afraid we wouldn't be able to come in, right? Renlong smiled. By the way, just call me Renlong. It's fate that we are able to meet here in the end. My identity doesn't matter anymore, but I can't let it go. He let out a deep sigh, and his eyes were filled with worry and longing. Emperor Ren, you can't let go of the princess, right? Yi Tianyun smiled faintly. You know Jiro? Renlong's eyes widened, and his aura exploded. In an instant he sprang up and dashed in front of him. Renlong's speed was so fast as expected of an ethereal powerhouse. Even though he was trapped here, he was still a powerhouse. Of course I know her. The princess asked me to find you. I didn't expect you to be alive. This is good news. Yi Tianyun took out the Sky Dragon Jade pendant and said, Before I came here, the princess gave me this as a keepsake. This is the Sky Dragon Jade pendant. Looks like Jiro is fine. Renlong picked up the Sky Dragon Jade pendant, and his eyes were filled with joy. He then gave it to Yi Tianyun and said in a deep voice, Since you have the Sky Dragon Jade pendant, you must be someone Jiro trusts. Tell me, what's the situation outside? Chapter 389. Seeing Renlong's excited expression, Yi Tianyun told Renlong what had happened. Renlong was furious. Prime Minister Long. Renlong gritted his teeth and said, I guess that he was the one behind all of this. He wanted to become the great emperor, but he couldn't because he didn't have enough heavenly dragon blood. It seems that the reason why he sent people to capture me was to get my blood essence. Yes, the empire is in chaos now. If this continues, Jiro won't be able to handle it. Yi Tianyun said. Yes, Prime Minister Long will definitely take Jiro away. But as long as Jiro continues to stay in the imperial capital, she will be safe with the heavenly dragon's secret treasure. Renlong's eyes were filled with anger, but more than that, he felt helpless. It seems that we have to go back as soon as possible. Although the heavenly dragon's secret treasure is very powerful, I don't think it is perfect. If Prime Minister Long finds any loopholes in it, it will be very dangerous. Yi Tianyun said. Yes, this is not a long-term solution. Jiro is still fine. Renlong sighed. When Yi Tianyun tried to help him, Renlong stood still and waved his hand to signal Yi Tianyun that he didn't need help. I'm fine. I'm just a little weak. I tried to subdue the heavenly dragon skeleton again and again, but in the end, my spiritual power and blood essence were sucked out. Over time, my cultivation dropped a lot. Yi Tianyun had already noticed that Renlong's cultivation had dropped to level 8 of core transformation stage. It was obvious that Renlong had consumed too much blood essence, which caused his cultivation to drop sharply. If this continued, he would definitely die. However, he kept trying to get out of this place. No one wanted to be trapped in this place. So, you hid in this place after you were chased? Yi Tianyun asked. That's right. Back then, I was trapped by the 6 Sealing Dragon brothers, and they even used the dragon-killing poison on me, causing my strength to plummet. In the end, I was forced to enter the most dangerous trial. Originally, I wanted to hide in another gate to undergo the trial, but I didn't expect it to be the most difficult one. Ren Long shook his head and said, "It's better to have a bit more luck and have a bit more luck." After recovering inside, I relied on a bit of luck to pass the trial. I thought I could go back, but who knew that I wouldn't be able to obtain such a great treasure? He really didn't know if he was lucky or unlucky. It wasn't easy for him to escape and pass the most terrifying trial, but he was trapped here. When the heavenly dragon skeleton is subdued, it will extract your spiritual energy and essence blood? Itianyun asked. Yes, it's very strange. It's like a bottomless pit, absorbing as much as you have. If you can't break free, you'll be sucked dry until you die. Ren Long still had lingering fears. He shook his head and said, "Now you've found me, but you're also trapped here." From the beginning, Ren Long had thought that it was impossible for Yi Tianyun to subdue the heavenly dragon skeleton. That was why he said that. Even he couldn't subdue the heavenly dragon skeleton, so how could this young man do it? It wasn't unreasonable. As a great emperor, Ren Long's cultivation had reached the void spirit stage, but he still couldn't subdue the heavenly dragon skeleton. How could Yi Tianyun do it? By the way, what happened to the princess? Why did she fall into a deep sleep? Yi Tianyun asked. You know she's in a deep sleep? Ren Long was shocked. Yes, I met the princess by accident. I entered the spiritual pool. Tianyun shook his head and said, then she woke up. I thought she was dead. At that time, he couldn't sense any aura from her. He thought she was dead, but she woke up all of a sudden. It was scary to see her breathing. I didn't expect you to have such a chance encounter. Ren Long shook his head and said, fortunately, it wasn't someone else who entered by accident. It would be troublesome if Jiro was harmed. To tell you the truth, the heavenly dragon bloodline is too domineering. Its yang qi is too strong, and it can easily hurt her body. She can only suppress the heavenly dragon bloodline through a deep sleep and gradually turn it into a Ina tribute heavenly dragon bloodline. Otherwise, it will be dangerous for her to cultivate, and she might even go berserk. Yi Tianyun was stunned. He didn't expect something like this to happen. That's serious. The heavenly dragon bloodline was indeed a Ina tribute force. It was very domineering and could suppress many evil forces. However, it was a nightmare for female cultivators. It was incompatible with the Ina tribute force in their bodies. If they cultivated when their bodies were not in harmony, it was easy for them to go berserk or even self-destruct. By sleeping, they could calm the heavenly dragon bloodline in their bodies and turn it into a Ina tribute bloodline. Did the conversion succeed? Yi Tianyun asked. It's still a long way off. As the number of battles increases, the heavenly dragon bloodline will gradually gain the upper hand, so I have to continue sleeping. Ren Long sighed and said, the one I'm most worried about is Jiro. I'm afraid she can't take care of herself. There are too few people she can trust. If she meets someone with bad intentions, Jiro will be in danger. This won't suddenly fall asleep, right? Yi Tianyun asked. That won't happen. It's just that if she doesn't sleep, it will be very dangerous to circulate the heavenly dragon bloodline. Ren Long's gaze turned cold. He looked at the heavenly dragon skeleton angrily and said, I'd rather leave this place without any treasures. Unfortunately, his angry roar couldn't create a passage. He could only stay here obediently. If this continued, they would die without a doubt. Ren Long could stay here for so long. Firstly, his cultivation was not low. Secondly, he had a lot of medicinal pills in his storage ring. That was why he could survive here. If it were someone with a lower cultivation, they would have died here long ago. Let me try. Yi Tianyun said. This will be very dangerous. If you don't pay attention, your blood qi will be sucked out. Ren Long said. If you don't try, how will you know? Tianyun smiled indifferently and said, aren't you like this? You know it's dangerous, but you still keep trying just to get out. I also don't want to be trapped in this damn place. I still want to get out. Well, let's try. Ren Long looked at Yi Tianyun in silence for a while, but he didn't continue to stop him. Ding, successfully accepted the temporary quest, Rescue Ren Long. Reward, 10 million EXP, 50. 000 crazy points, 100 Ren Long favorability. Suddenly a temporary quest popped up, which was unexpected for Yi Tianyun. but it's always a good thing to get a quest, at least he can get some experience. Chapter 390. After Tianyun made his preparations, he walked towards the heavenly dragon skeleton and extended his hand to grab it. The instant he grabbed onto the heavenly dragon skeleton, a terrifying suction force immediately sucked the spiritual energy and blood essence out of his body. The suction force was extremely powerful. Dark North Divine Art. Absorbing Star's great technique. With the two stacked on top of each other, the suction increased several times. However, the suction was still not as strong as the Sky Dragon skeleton. The overbearing suction was still trying to suck out his essence blood. It was just that the suction force was slightly weakened under his suction force. It still doesn't work. Equip the Evil Dragon equipment set. In the blink of an eye, he equipped the Evil Dragon equipment set and circulated his terrifying devouring power. It was as if a black hole had appeared in his hand, and he immediately lashed out with an even stronger suction force. Finally, under the 3 layers, the Sky Dragon skeleton was unable to extract his essence blood. Instead, the energy in the Sky Dragon skeleton was forcefully extracted and poured into his body. However, what he absorbed was not experience but the energy value of the Dragon God bloodline. Dragon God bloodline increased by 500 points, Dragon God bloodline increased by 800 points, Dragon God bloodline increased by 700 points. Under normal circumstances, Dragon God bloodline needs crazy points to level up, but with the increase in value, it can start to strengthen, but the value is a bit low. The highest value is only 800 or 900. With his current 4th grade Dragon God bloodline, he would need 1 million crazy point, which would take a long time to absorb. If the heavenly dragon bone did not have such a suction force, the rate of absorption would be much faster. It was already good enough that he could absorb it now, not to mention how much energy it could provide. Originally he needed crazy point to upgrade his Dragon God bloodline, but now he doesn't need any crazy point, he just needs to absorb it. Just this point alone was enough to make him feel satisfied. At the very least, it could be improved. If he continued to absorb it like this, his Dragon God bloodline would definitely level up. At that time, the power that he would be able to release would undoubtedly be even more astonishing. It seems that absorbing different types of energy will result in different effects. Previously, he had been absorbing spiritual energy, which only brought him EXP. Now, it increased the value of his Dragon God bloodline. This gave him another idea. Was it related to the Dragon God's bloodline? Who was more powerful, the heavenly dragon or the Dragon God? Without a doubt, it was the Dragon God. However, the Dragon God was in the corner over there, and he didn't look as domineering as the heavenly dragon. In any case, being able to increase the value of the Dragon God bloodline was a good thing. Rinlong, who was at the side, stared blankly at him and asked in shock, "Are you all right?" "I'm fine. I can still endure it. As long as I can devour its energy, I'll be fine. Moreover, I need to surpass the amount of energy it devours from you," Tianyun said. "Isn't this a joke? It's good enough that I'm not sucked dry by it. It's too difficult to absorb this heavenly dragon skeleton into my body. I've tried it before, but it didn't work at all. It seems like you can do it. I'll leave it to you then." Renlong's eyes were filled with hope. As long as he could succeed, it didn't matter if it took a little longer. He had been here for several years, so this period of time was nothing to him. Tianyun nodded and continued to crazily absorb the energy. If this was a treasure, then it couldn't be considered a treasure. It could only be considered as an energy body. Under normal circumstances, when a cultivator obtained the dragon skeleton, they could refine it into pills and consume it, or directly absorb the dragon essence within, which could greatly increase their strength. This was similar to how he was improving his Dragon God bloodline. If the levels of the Dark North Divine Art can be improved, then it'll be different. The effects of the Evil Dragon set could not be improved. The Dark North Divine Art could be improved, but the proficiency required was too much. In addition, he didn't have many opportunities to use it before, so he still needed a lot of proficiency. From the looks of it, he could only do it bit by bit. He couldn't speed it up even if he wanted to. While maintaining this state, Yi Tianyun continued to absorb the heavenly dragon skeleton. After absorbing hundreds of thousands of heavenly dragon skeleton, the heavenly dragon skeleton suddenly moved, startling Renlong. Did the heavenly dragon skeleton move? Renlong said in shock. Yes, it did move. Yi Tianyun looked up at the heavenly dragon skeleton above his head. There was no change in its appearance. It just moved slightly. When he thought it was fine, the entire heavenly dragon skeleton made a cracking sound. The heavenly dragon skeleton really moved, followed by a roar. Foolish human, how dare you absorb my energy? You're courting death. The heavenly dragon skeleton slowly moved. Its speed was not fast at all. It was rather stiff, but as it moved, its speed became faster and faster. Yi Tianyun quickly let go and retreated. Immediately, the heavenly dragon skeleton stood up. The bones all over its body made a creaking sound, which looked quite ear-piercing. It's actually moving and it can even come back to life? Renlong was shocked. Even Yi Tianyun was surprised. It seemed that it still had its own consciousness. After the heavenly dragon skeleton moved, it suddenly swung its huge dragon tail over. With a swoosh, the sound of breaking through the air could be heard. A large area was swept by the dragon tail, which carried a terrifying heavenly dragon's power. It was incomparably domineering. Dodge! Yingyun quickly dodged back, but he was too close. Just as he was about to be left behind, a pair of hands grabbed him and quickly retreated. The one who held him back was none other than Renlong. He threw Yi Tianyun out of the room and said, "Go!" Yi Tianyun was thrown out, but Renlong was still within the attack range. He smiled as if he didn't think it was a big deal. Yi Tianyun's pupils shrank. He didn't expect that Renlong would choose to let himself be attacked because of him. He immediately grabbed Renlong's arm, and his eyes flickered. In an instant, they disappeared on the spot. The next moment, they appeared at the edge and successfully avoided the dragon tail sweep. However, a wave of heavenly dragon's power swept over. Their faces darkened, and they quickly attacked to block it. With a boom, both of them were sent flying. Yi Tianyun's situation was still fine, but Renlong's hands were trembling from the slap. The heavenly dragon's power was too domineering. Even if he wasn't hit by the dragon tail, it was still equivalent to being hit heavily. Even a skeleton is so strong. Yi Tianyun looked up, and detailed data appeared in front of him. Heavenly dragon skeleton, Void Spirit Stage Level 4. Its whole body is comparable to a top-grade sacred artifact. It was extremely powerful when it was alive. Combat power 31 million. Weakness, none. Martial arts, none. Killed may drop Heavenly Dragon Soul, Heavenly Dragon Divine Bone, Dragon God Bloodline. The Heavenly Dragon Skeleton originally didn't know any martial arts. It should have known it when it was alive, but after its death, it could only use its pure strength to suppress it. If it was still alive, they would be dead without a doubt. They wouldn't be able to stop it. Brother Ren, why did you choose to sacrifice yourself to save me? Yi Tianyun was stunned, and he was very touched. Even though he had several ways to avoid it, when he was about to use them, Renlong helped him throw them out. I feel that you can deal with it. Even if I am hit by this move, I should still be alive. Even if I die, at least you are still alive, right? I couldn't even dodge it just now. Renlong grinned. By the way, what happened just now? Why did you suddenly hide here? That's not the point. The heavenly dragon skeleton is going crazy. Yi Tianyun's eyes narrowed. The heavenly dragon skeleton wanted to continue attacking. Ancestor Heavenly Dragon, I am your descendant. Renlong shouted. I hope Ancestor can let us out. We will never disturb your peace. Descendant? You devoured our heavenly dragon bloodline. How dare you call yourself the descendant of the heavenly dragon? The heavenly dragon skeleton roared. Die, you damn humans. Chapter 391. The heavenly dragon skeleton was completely insane. After a roar, it pounced towards Renlong crazily. It aimed at Renlong, opened its huge mouth, and spat out a stream of heavenly dragon energy. Instantly, the overbearing heavenly dragon energy pressed towards Renlong. Renlong's expression changed. It seemed that the sky dragon skeleton did not recognize his identity at all and wanted to kill him. At this moment, an ice arrow pierced through the heavenly dragon's power and blasted the heavenly dragon skeleton. Boom! The thick ice arrow hit the sky dragon skeleton. It did not penetrate the hard sky dragon skeleton. Instead, it exploded. The sky dragon skeleton was wrapped in an extremely cold aura, freezing it in a thick layer. The sacred instrument was indeed a sacred instrument. Under such a fast and violent arrow, it could not break the skeleton. It only left a shallow mark on it. Crack, crack. The frozen sky dragon skeleton twisted its body. The ice on its body fell quickly. The effect of the extreme ice on it was negligible. It was originally a set of bones, so the freezing effect was very limited. It seems that the effect is limited. Then I will use my strength to suppress you. Lee Tianyun's eyes flashed. Black energy was released from his body. The next moment, with a dragon roar, he turned into a huge evil dragon. It was longer and bigger than the sky dragon skeleton. The sky dragon skeleton's body was at most 50 to 60 meters long. When he turned into an evil dragon, it was 100 meters long. Renlong was shocked. Although he had the heavenly dragon bloodline, he could not turn into a real dragon. Originally, he only had the bloodline, but he could not turn into a real dragon. He could only cover his body with dragon scales. He is from the dragon tribe? Renlong was dumbfounded. He did not know that this was the effect of the evil dragon set. How could he be an expert from the dragon tribe? Dragon tribe? The sky dragon skeleton's hollow eyes lit up. It was like a pair of eyes, allowing it to see Lee Tianyun's appearance clearly. Lee Tianyun ignored the sky dragon skeleton. His huge body twisted quickly. The thick dragon tail turned into a thick black whip and slammed down from the sky. Boom! The sky dragon skeleton was smashed to the ground by this force. Not a single bone in its body fell off, but it was heavily pressed to the ground. Bastard! The dignity of a heavenly dragon cannot be violated. The sky dragon skeleton roared and struggled to get up. However, it was pinned down by Lee Tianyun and could not move at all. It was undeniable that the sky dragon skeleton was domineering, but it was still dead. Under Lee Tianyun's even more domineering power, the sky dragon skeleton was completely suppressed and could not move at all. Get lost! The heavenly dragon skeleton roared again, and the power of the heavenly dragon burst out instantly. A shadow of the heavenly dragon emerged from the skeleton and covered the skeleton as if it was really resurrected. His battle power soared all of a sudden and directly doubled, reaching nearly 70 million battle power. The overbearing heavenly dragon's power sent Lee Tianyun flying, and he slammed into the wall on the side. The wall shook from the impact, and the terrifying power made Lee Tianyun tremble. Even if it's dead, it can still be so strong. It's really heaven-defying. Tianyun quickly flew up. The impact didn't hurt him much, but the heavenly dragon skeleton was too strong for him to suppress. If this continues, he really can't deal with this heavenly dragon skeleton. This heavenly dragon skeleton is stronger than general foam. It can only be said that the heavenly dragon skeleton was too strong when it was alive. Crazy damage mode. Dragon God bloodline, full release. With the double superimposed, his battle power soared in an instant. 41 million battle power. 48 million battle power. 58 million battle power. 63 million battle power. After detonating all of it, it only reached 63 million battle power, which is still a bit lower than the opponent. Upgrade, Dragon God Bloodline. Ding! Successfully consumed 560,000 crazy points to upgrade Dragon God Bloodline to 5th grade. Ding! Successfully upgraded Dragon God Bloodline to 5th grade. Maximum power increased by 12 times. Next level requires 5 million crazy points to upgrade. Boom! After upgrading his Dragon God bloodline, his strength was 4 times stronger than that of a rank 4 bloodline. It was impossible for it to be 16 times stronger. If it was 16 times stronger, it would be too heaven-defying. At this time, red dragon scales appeared on his body. It's obviously the black dragon scales of the evil dragon, but red dragon scales gradually appeared on top of it, and a dragon god's shadow emerged behind him, looking more solid. 65 million battle power. 68 million battle power. 71 million battle power. Yi Tianyun roared to the sky. The violent power is terrifying. He flew out and swung his dragon tail fiercely. The power is a lot stronger than before. Boom! The heavenly dragon skeleton also attacked, and the two collided, but Yi Tianyun's power is undoubtedly better. Under the continuous explosion, the heavenly dragon skeleton's huge body was pressed down, but it didn't get pressed to the ground. It can only be said that the gap in combat power is a bit small, so it can't suppress this heavenly dragon skeleton. Heavenly dragon's dignity, I can't. Know your head, burn your blood essence, explode for me. Yi Tianyun roared, burning the blood essence in his body, and in an instant his combat power was superimposed again. 75 million battle power. 78 million battle power. 81 million battle power. An increase of 10 million battle power, superimposed by burning his blood essence, is not superimposed on the basis of the original explosion, but from his most basic damage superimposed. This is already a very terrifying number. Boom! The power of the dragon tail suddenly increased by several times, and it pressed down fiercely. The heavenly dragon skeleton was heavily slammed to the ground, and with a loud bang, the heavenly dragon skeleton was almost smashed into the ground, but it only smashed a big hole. Crack! Under this fierce smash, the heavenly dragon skeleton cracked. No matter how much it resembles a sacred tool, it will always be fragile. Yi Tianyun didn't stop attacking, and continued to smash down fiercely, smashing the heavenly dragon skeleton, making it unable to move. He can't maintain this state for too long, so he wants to finish it as soon as possible. Renlong on the side was stunned. Such a violent power, even if he recovered his strength, he can't resist it. Compared to the same level, it is much stronger. Without the cultivation of Void Spirit stage level 6 or 7, it is impossible to suppress this heavenly dragon skeleton. Chapter 392. This power is too strong. Where did he come from? Renlong saw that Yi Tianyun kept smashing the sky dragon skeleton with his dragon tail until it could not get up at all. Cracks even appeared on its body and it was about to break. Apart from screaming, the heavenly dragon skeleton could not do anything else to resist. No matter what kind of resistance the sky dragon skeleton made, it was meaningless in front of Yi Tianyun's absolute strength. When the gap between the two was too big, it was completely unstoppable. The sky dragon skeleton's temper was gone. The dignity of the sky dragon was nothing here. It could not even speak after being smashed. Stupid, stupid, boom, boom, boom. Doppelgangers. In the next moment, Yi Tianyun used clone technique, and 3 evil dragons appeared in front of him. They aimed at the heavenly dragon skeleton that was lying on the ground and smashed it again and again. A total of 4 evil dragons smashed the heavenly dragon skeleton until it couldn't move anymore. Although the other 3 evil dragon doppelgangers were not as strong as the main body, they were not weak. Especially after erupting, even if they only used 30% of their power, they still had a combat power of more than 20 million, which was quite shocking. What's going on? How can 3 evil dragons appear? What kind of martial arts is this? Renlong was horrified to the extreme. He had never seen such a violent power before, and he had never seen such a magical martial art. He thought about how he tried to persuade Yi Tianyun not to touch the sky dragon skeleton. Now, he felt that it was ridiculous. This power was even stronger than his peak. Yi Tianyun didn't care about Renlong's thoughts and kept smashing the heavenly dragon skeleton. Finally, with a crack sound, the heavenly dragon skeleton was completely broken, and it was divided into 2 sections on the side. Although it was broken into 2, the sky dragon skeleton still had combat power. Therefore, Yi Tianyun continued to smash, but it was much easier than before. Since the sky dragon skeleton had already collapsed, it was easier to destroy. Finally, after Yi Tianyun continued smashing the heavenly dragon skeleton into 4 pieces, Yi Tianyun returned to his human form. His face was pale, and it was clear that he had expended a lot of energy. He quickly swallowed a few pills to replenish his spiritual power. What he really lacked was blood qi. Burning his blood essence had consumed a lot of his blood chi, which was why his face was so pale. After taking the elixir, he took out the strengthened blood jade and quickly extracted the blood chi within it, quickly replenishing it. In just a short while, his complexion returned to normal, and the blood chi he had consumed was completely replenished. Only a small portion of the enhanced blood jade's energy consumption had been reduced, and it could still be used for a long time. Damned human. How could you become a dragon? The sky dragon's skeleton spoke intermittently, but it really couldn't move. It could only lie on the ground and speak. This has nothing to do with you. What's more important to me? Tianyun picked up the shattered sky dragon skeletons and started to absorb them. The divine dragon bloodline's power continuously surged into his body, increasing his stats. However, after absorbing for a short while with less than 10,000 points, it had already turned into a pile of powder. The smaller the skeleton, the less energy it would obtain. I didn't expect that I, the Heavenly Dragon King, would actually die in the hands of a human. I can't accept this, I can't accept this. One of the flames in the huge head of the sky dragon skeleton suddenly extinguished, and when there was only one blue flame left, it let out another voice. Thank you for your help, allowing me to be completely freed. If the future generations want to obtain my power, they will force me to live in this world, unable to be freed. The sky dragon skeleton looked at Renlong and said, Child, you have the bloodline of our Heavenly Dragon clan. I hope you can maintain it. Don't be devoured by the desire for power, and an undead existence like me will appear. Thank you, thank you. In the end, the flames on the huge head completely disappeared, and there was no sign of life, nor was there any dragon's might. What was left was the real sky dragon skeleton. A few words made Tianyun frown. It seems that the one who caused this situation is the descendant of the Heavenly Dragon clan. Is it Renlong's ancestor? After the soul disappeared, the sky dragon skeleton gradually turned into powder, and countless starlight energy floated up and poured into their body. Whether it is Tianyun or Renlong, both of them obtained this energy. Ding, successfully killed sky dragon skeleton, gained 20 million EXP, 50. 000 CPS, 5. 000 SPs. Obtained items, Heavenly Dragon Soul, Heavenly Dragon Skeleton, Dragon God Bloodline, 4th grade. Ding, obtained additional rewards of 50 million EXP, 100. 000 CPS, 5. 000 SPs, enhanced version lottery roulette ticket. A series of rewards jumped out, basically all the items of the Sky Dragon skeleton dropped. Finally, Tianyun didn't waste his luck aura and EXP mode. 100, 000 EXP, 1500. 000 EXP, 2000. 000 EXP, 3000. 000 EXP, 1000 Dragon God Bloodline, 2000 Dragon God Bloodline, 3000 Dragon God Bloodline. The energy that surged into their body quickly turned into EXP and Dragon God Bloodline value. This is a double superposition effect. The essence of the Sky Dragon skeleton completely turned into EXP and Dragon God Bloodline value. This is a double superposition effect. Both of them meditated together, concentrating on absorbing this energy to improve themselves. This situation lasted for several days. Tianyun's various attributes have improved a lot, but he is still a long way from leveling up, but it is not far. Finally finished absorbing. Tianyun took a deep breath. He felt very satisfied with the reward this time. Although he didn't get any treasure, the double improvement is still very good. If he didn't have the system and was in a situation like Renlong's, absorbing it would greatly strengthen him, and he would be able to take a big step forward in his cultivation. It is like taking a divine pill, greatly improving his energy in all aspects. Old Ancestor Heavenly Dragon. Renlong sighed. I didn't expect such a tragedy to happen here. Brother Ren, what the hell is going on here? Didn't you do it? Tianyun asked. Of course not. When we found this place, it was already empty. There is no sky dragon, only a pile of bones. Our ancestors used these dragon bones to build the Heavenly Dragon Empire. Renlong shook his head and said, I haven't even come here before. The ancestors told us not to come in. I didn't expect to see this old ancestor heavenly dragon. Chapter 393. This was clearly the Ren clan's territory, but Renlong had never been here before. One had to know that after entering the 4 doors outside once, one could not enter a second time. This was the first time Renlong had entered, so it was very strange. So it was because of the ancestors' orders that he could not enter this place. Brother Ren, when you came in here before, what did you feel? Tianyun thought for a moment before asking. When I came in, I felt a force pulling me over. Renlong thought for a moment before saying, then, I followed this force and walked into this place. So that's how it is. Tianyun's eyes flickered. Do you still remember what I said about the skeletons outside? I suspect that it was all caused by the heavenly dragon skeleton. After absorbing all the blood essence of our clansmen, we can only die here. Why do you say that? Renlong asked doubtfully. Didn't the heavenly dragon old ancestor say before that if a descendant were to forcefully extend its life, it would either sacrifice itself to allow it to continue living, or it would demonize and crazily absorb its companions? Tianyun said solemnly, I think the demonization is more believable. Brother Ren, you were attracted here because of the heavenly dragon bloodline in your body, so I let you come here to absorb the blood essence of old ancestor heavenly dragon to prolong his life. When Tianyun said this, it caused Renlong to reveal a shocked expression. Didn't this mean that the initial destruction of the coiling dragon cave was caused by the heavenly dragon race himself? That does make sense, but unfortunately, I don't know the truth. I only know that the ancestor told us not to come in here. At most, we can only walk around outside, but we must not come in. Renlong said in a deep voice. Combined with Brother Yi's guess, it really is possible. The ancestor knows that this place is very dangerous, so he doesn't let us in. The power of the heavenly dragon old ancestor is suppressing us. Even if our cultivation is not weak, we will still be suppressed by this power. As the ancestor, the heavenly dragon old ancestor had an absolute advantage in terms of bloodline, so he was naturally able to suppress their power. This was just like their king. How could they dare to resist? From the looks of it, it wasn't that Renlong's luck was good, but that he was destined to be drawn here. This coiling dragon treasure map was truly deadly. If not for the fact that his cultivation was slightly stronger, he would have really died here. If he had come here with his spirit core stage cultivation, then he would have ended up like Renlong, trapped here until he died. Unless some super expert came in and helped them destroy the heavenly dragon skeleton, they would not be able to leave. No matter what, they didn't know the truth. No one here could explain it to them. It was fine as long as they could get out. Soon after, a passageway appeared in front of them. It was a passageway that could lead them out. Renlong was pleasantly surprised. We can finally go out, we can finally go out. Renlong was overjoyed. After being locked up here for so long, he could finally get out. How could he not be excited? Tianyun nodded and followed them out, disappearing into the passageway. At the same time, many people outside had successfully obtained the treasures and came out. Some revealed expressions of surprise, some revealed expressions of sorrow. Everyone's expression was complicated. Su Fei's face was full of joy. He was waiting for Tianyun to come out of the hall outside. I don't know when Big Brother Yi will come out. The harvest this time is really not small. It won't be a problem for me to break through to the spirit core stage. Su Fei couldn't hide the joy in his eyes. After Wang Menglong came out, his face was full of anger. Damn it, just a little bit more. Looking at his expression, it was obvious that he didn't get the treasures he needed. Although the treasures here were in front of him, whether he could get them or not was another matter. Obtaining treasures depended on one's own strength. It's just that it's not as dangerous as Tianyun's encounter with the heavenly dragon skeleton, which is almost fatal. Su Fei, what treasure did you get? Take it out and let me see. Wang Menglong was unhappy. When he saw Su Fei, he walked over and said, Why? Su Fei frowned. None of the cultivators who came out of the spirit core stage would take out their treasures to play with. It would be troublesome if they were targeted by others. Wang Menglong arrogantly asked him to take it out and have a look. But Because I am Wang Menglong. Wang Menglong clenched his fist and looked at him coldly. I am asking you if you will take it out or not. If you don't take it out, don't blame me for beating you up and taking you back to the Su family. Now the Su family has spent a lot of money to find you. If I take you back, I can get a reward. Really? Let's try. Facing Wang Menglong's threat, Su Fei clenched the long sword on his waist and looked at him coldly. He was not afraid at all. You dare to resist? It seems that you are itching for a beating. Wang Menglong was worried that he couldn't vent his anger. He pinched his wrist and was ready to beat Su Fei up. I think you are itching for a beating. A voice came from behind. Wang Menglong turned his head and saw Yi Tianyun coming out with Renlong. Many people hadn't seen Renlong before. Many people looked at him and were curious. Why would someone come out with Yi Tianyun? Did this person break into the trial before? However, they felt that this person is not simple. Just his temperament alone is much stronger than many people. Big brother Yi, you came out. Su Fei said in surprise. So it is you. Wang Menglong's eyes lit up. You came out from the innermost part. I don't know what you got. Take it out and let me see. What if I say no? Yi Tianyun looked at him coldly. If you don't, then let me personally search you and see what good things you have on you. As soon as his voice fell, Wang Menglong stepped forward and quickly grabbed towards Yi Tianyun. His palm turned into a dragon claw and a dragon force was released from his body. It seems that Wang Menglong's family background is not bad. He found a lot of dragon blood essence for him to absorb. Yi Tianyun didn't dodge. When Wang Menglong pounced on him, he grabbed his wrist at an even faster speed and slammed it on the ground. Bang! Yi Tianyun was stunned. My hand. Wang Menglong screamed and struggled to get rid of Yi Tianyun. However, Yi Tianyun's foot stepped on his body and he couldn't move at all. You bastard! Do you know who I am? Wang Menglong roared and tried to shake off Yi Tianyun's hand. You want to use this hand to search me? Yi Tianyun said indifferently. Chapter 394. Yi Tianyun didn't care about Wang Menglong's identity. Since he dared to search his body, he must pay the corresponding price. Wang Menglong thought that he was very strong, much stronger than Yi Tianyun. If he chose the fourth door, he would still be able to pass it smoothly. Now it was obvious that Wang Menglong was completely beaten up and had no power to resist. Yi Tianyun was a realm stronger than him. He didn't want to bully the weak, but there was always someone who was blind and kept coming at him. My hand, you actually broke my hand like that? Wang Menglong screamed in pain. The intense pain made him break out in cold sweat. My Wang family will not let you go. I will ask my father to kill your family and execute your 9 generations. Even though Wang Menglong's hand was broken, he didn't forget to drag his father out to threaten him. Wang family? The Wang family you are talking about? Is it General Wang Tian? Renlong looked at him and asked with a frown. It seems that you know my father. General Wang Tian is my father, Prime Minister Long's right-hand man. You are dead. Wang Menglong couldn't stop laughing, but after laughing a few times, he pulled at his own wound, causing him to suck in a cold breath. This General Wang was naturally not the General Wang who was killed by Yi Tianyun. There were many people with the surname Wang, so it was not just Wang Menglong. If he didn't know that his father was killed, it would be sad enough. Especially when he was hung outside the city, it was a great humiliation. Wang Menglong couldn't escape from the responsibility, he would have been arrested and executed. General Wang Tian, I want to see who dares to execute Brother Yi's 9 generations. Renlong sneered. Not to mention General Wang, even Prime Minister Long can't do it. What a big tone. Do you think you are the great emperor? Wang Menglong sneered. I advise you to let me go, kowtow in front of me and admit your mistakes. Also, hand over the treasures, or my father will definitely kill you. Do you think you're the great emperor? After he said that, Tianyun had a strange expression on his face. This Renlong before him really was a great emperor. As long as he returned, he would be able to regain his position as a great emperor. At this time, Hua Xiang walked out of the passageway. She had just obtained a treasure. If she had come out, Wang Menglong would have rushed over and fawned over her. He wouldn't have looked for trouble with Su Fei. Doing such a rude thing in front of a beautiful woman would affect his image. When Hua Xiang came out and saw Yi Tianyun and Ren Long, she was stunned. A moment later, he shuffled his legs to Ren Long's side. After sizing him up for a moment, he said in shock, "Ren, Great Emperor Ren?" Many people had never seen Great Emperor Ren before. Although they could recognize him through the portrait, the Great Emperor Ren in front of them looked much older than before. Therefore, even if they looked at the portrait, they wouldn't be able to recognize him immediately. Only those who had met him a few times could quickly recognize him. Hua Xiang had seen Ren Long before, so she could recognize that the man in front of her was Ren Long. As soon as these words came out, many people were stunned and immediately stared at Ren Long. After a moment, their eyes revealed a look of horror. Some people quickly took out the portrait, and after comparing it several times, they shouted, "It's really, really Great Emperor Ren. No, it can't be. Is this really Great Emperor Ren?" Wang Menglong was stunned. He felt that his arm didn't hurt anymore. He just looked at Ren Long in a daze. Hua Xiang had a good relationship with Ren Jiro. Hua family originally supported Ren family, so it was not surprising that she had seen Ren Long before. "Who do you want to kill?" Ren Long looked at him coldly and said, "Brother Yi is an honored guest of our Heavenly Dragon Empire. You, General Wang Tian, dare to kill his family? It seems that the Wang family needs to be investigated carefully. How powerful are they to dare to do such a thing?" Wang Menglong was sweating profusely. If Ren Long pursued the Wang family's responsibility, they would really be finished. This is really a disaster from the mouth. Wang Menglong's intestines were green with regret. He didn't dare to be arrogant anymore. In front of the great emperor of Heavenly Dragon Empire, who would dare to be arrogant? Unless they don't want to stay in Heavenly Dragon Empire anymore, no one would dare to be arrogant in front of Ren Long. "Great Emperor Ren, you are okay?" Hua Xiang's face showed a surprised expression. "Well, you should be the daughter of the Hua family. This emperor has seen you a few times." Ren Long smiled slightly. "Yes, this little girl is Hua Xiang from the Hua family. Greetings, Great Emperor Ren." Hua Xiang half squatted down and said respectfully, "Well, so get up." Ren Long said to Tianyun, "Let's go, we should go back." At this moment, Ren Long was very excited. Finally, he can go back. How can he not be happy? "Su Fei, let's go." Yi Tianyun signaled Su Fei to go back with him. Su Fei came back to his senses and walked out with Yi Tianyun, leaving behind a group of stunned cultivators. None of them could recover from the shock. It seems that Ren Long is not dead, he is still alive and well. Hua Xiang also hurriedly followed behind Wang Menglong. No one cares about Wang Menglong's life or death. Wang Menglong's face is also pale. He is very afraid of Ren Long's words. If something happens to the Wang family, part of the responsibility will be on him. "Big brother Yi, I followed your instructions this time and really found something good. I will show you." Su Fei wanted to show Yi Tianyun, but Yi Tianyun stretched out his hand and stopped him. "Don't take it out. It is not good to show your wealth. It is enough for you to know." Yi Tianyun said with a faint smile, "As long as you are satisfied. It seems that you have gained a lot this time." "Yes, if not for Big Brother Yi bringing me here, I would not have gained so much," Su Fei said with a smile. "Well, do you want to come with me? I happen to lack a capable warrior by my side. I think you are very suitable." Yi Tianyun invited Su Fei at this time. Su Fei met all the standards in all aspects. He is very suitable to be recruited as his subordinate. Su Fei's face was full of joy, but immediately after thinking, he cupped his fists and said, "Since Big Brother Yi invited this little brother, I am naturally very happy. But I still have some things to do. When it is over, I will definitely go to Big Brother Yi and follow your lead." "Is it about the Qin family?" Yi Tianyun squinted his eyes and smiled. This, sure enough, nothing can escape Big Brother Yi's eyes. Su Fei's eyes lit up and said, "Qin family's eldest daughter has already promised to marry me, but the Qin family does not recognize my strength. This time I got the treasure, I want to prove myself." "Well, since you have made up your mind, I will not stop you. Yi Tianyun smiled. Chapter 395. After the group walked out, Su Fei said goodbye to Tianyun and quickly left. Brother Yi, it seems that you are interested in him? Ren Long asked curiously. Yes, he has a good character and perseverance. I want to recruit him as one of my generals to help me command a group of people. Yi Tianyun didn't hide anything from Ren Long. Oh, it seems that Brother Yi has a force. What force is it? Ren Long asked. It's a new third-grade force. Many people don't know about it, so it's useless to say it. Yi Tianyun smiled lightly. Third-grade force? A third-grade force. With Brother Yi's ability, it's only a matter of time before it becomes a fourth-grade force. Ren Long smiled. He should be a disciple of the Su family. The Su family supports our Ren family. The Qin family is considered a neutral faction, plus he is a bit weak, so it's natural that he doesn't want to marry his daughter. Although Ren Long hasn't been back for many years, he still has a good impression of the Qin family. A big family won't be completely destroyed in just a few years. Of course, let him go first and I'll go later. In the future, as one of my generals, I will definitely help him, and I want him to marry the Qin family's daughter. Yi Tianyun smiled. Brother Yi, do you need my help? Ren Long already regards Yi Tianyun as his friend, and with his strength, he's more than enough to be his friend. That's not necessary. If I have to rely on other people's strength, then I won't be able to convince anyone. Yi Tianyun looked at him and said with a smile. We should go back now, or Jiro will be waiting for us. Yes, I'm finally back, Prime Minister Long. I will make him pay. Ren Long's eyes flashed with killing intent. Ding! Successfully completed the temporary quest, Rescue Ren Long. Reward, 10 million EXP, 50 million crazy points, 100 Ren Long's favorability. The temporary quest was completed immediately, and Yi Tianyun got a lot of EXP, which made him quite satisfied. The two of them quickly flew back to the imperial capital, hoping that nothing would change. There were not many changes in the Heavenly Dragon imperial capital, but after so many days, there was no news from the 6 Feng Long brothers, which made Prime Minister Long feel very strange. Logically speaking, it shouldn't have taken that long. Could it be that the 6 Sealing Dragon brothers have already encountered misfortune? Prime Minister Long frowned. Back then, the 6 Feng Long brothers he sent were besieged and forced to death. How could they not be able to deal with those two? While Prime Minister Long was constantly guessing, a guard rushed in from outside in a hurry. Reporting to Prime Minister Long. The guard hurriedly knelt on the ground after coming in. What is it? Prime Minister Long frowned. He felt that something was wrong. Emperor Ren Long is back. After the guard conveyed the message, an explosive force was released from Prime Minister Long's body. Roar! The tyrannical heavenly dragon energy surged over and sent the guard flying. He vomited blood and fainted after sustaining severe injuries. What's going on? Didn't they say that Ren Long had entered the 4th door? That's a path of certain death. How could he still be alive? Prime Minister Long's eyes were full of shock and anger. Everything that had been planned was collapsing in an instant. Damn the 6 Sealing Dragon brothers, even if you are not dead, I will kill you all. Prime Minister Long was furious and his anger swept everything around him. No matter how precious it was shattered by the power of the Heavenly Dragon. Even a thick wall was shattered. Accompanied by a dragon's roar, the hut was shattered. Many generals rushed over, and when they saw that Prime Minister Long's study room had collapsed, their complexion changed. Why did the study suddenly collapse? Was it a sneak attack? But that's not right. With Prime Minister Long's powerful cultivation, who would dare to sneak attack him? Immediately, Prime Minister Long walked out of the broken study and looked at everyone coldly. It seems that the heavens are forcing me to use tough means to gather all the forces and prepare to attack the imperial capital. All the generals hurriedly tried to persuade him. You can't do that. If you provoke all the families that support the Ren family to rebel, both sides will suffer. Their side was not weak, but the other side was not weak either. Once the war started, not to mention the people's support, the other side would be able to crush them. Originally, they just wanted to secretly capture the princess and create a tragedy, just like Rinlong. At that time, they would be able to conquer the rest of the families without losing a single soldier. Now that Rinlong is back, the difficulty has been greatly increased. Rinlong came back alive. Do you think that if I don't do this, I will still have a chance? Prime Minister Long said coldly. They all fell silent. They didn't expect that Prime Minister Long would be even angrier after hearing the news. Prime Minister Long's anger was inevitable. He had coveted the throne of the great emperor for a long time. Now that he was told that Rinlong was back, it was tantamount to declaring that he could no longer sit on the throne. But, no buts. The Netherworld Empire's Imperial Preceptor is rushing here. With the Imperial Preceptor's help, no matter how many forces come, they will die. What heavenly dragon's secret treasure? With the help of the Imperial Preceptor, we can still break it. Prime Minister Long sneered. The Netherworld Empire's Imperial Teacher is here. All of them fell into silence. They were very clear about Prime Minister Long's secret dealings with the Netherworld Empire, but they didn't expect him to push the matter to the surface so quickly. At that time, even if they managed to seize the Heavenly Dragon Empire, it would be a broken Heavenly Dragon Empire. This was something they did not wish to see. After wasting so much time, they could only resort to forceful methods in the end. There's nothing more to say. Get ready to march into the imperial capital. Prime Minister Long issued another order. Yes. They all growled, indicating that they would obey Prime Minister Long's orders. Soon, they began to rush their troops, preparing to attack the imperial capital. This was going to be another fierce battle. However, if the Netherworld Empire intervened, they would definitely win. Prime Minister Long looked up at the sky. There were no clouds in the blue sky. Since the heavens don't want me to sit on this throne, then I will break the sky and force it to show you. Nephew Rinlong, let us uncle and nephew have a good talk. Let's see if you can continue to sit on this throne or if I can. Prime Minister Long's eyes flashed with cold, killing intent. The great emperor's throne is mine. No one can take it away from me. Not even the Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure can protect you. Chapter 396. Yi Tianyun had already returned to the imperial capital, and it was because they returned to the imperial capital that the news was leaked. There are many spies in the imperial capital, and it's impossible to hide from them. Rinjiro has been hiding in the imperial palace for a long time. She didn't want to ruin Yi Tianyun's plan, and she didn't want Yi Tianyun to worry about her, so she kept hiding in the imperial palace. Now that Yi Tianyun brought Rinlong back, Rinjiro was overjoyed. She didn't expect her brother to be alive. Big brother, I knew you were fine. Rinjiro threw herself into Rinlong's arms with tears in her eyes. Little sister, of course I'm fine. Without Brother Yi's help, I wouldn't have been able to come out. Rinlong let Rinjiro leave his arms and looked at her thin face. You've really lost weight. It's been hard on you all these years. Brother, thank you so much. Rinjiro said with a smile. In an instant, all the flowers around her paled in comparison. You're welcome. Yi Tianyun said with a smile. I told you before that I would help you, but you didn't let me. Of course, his cultivation was too low at that time, so he couldn't help Rinjiro even if he wanted to. Reward, 50 million EXP, 1 million crazy points, 200 Rinjiro's favorability, Imperial Guardian title. Successfully completed Hidden Chain Quest, Help Imperial Goddess. Reward, 50 million EXP, 100. 000 crazy points, 50 Imperial Goddess's favorability. Successfully completed Hidden Chain Quest, Help Imperial Goddess to resist Prime Minister Long. Reward, 50 million EXP, 100. 000 crazy points, 50 Imperial Goddess's favorability. Congratulations to player Tianyun for successfully breaking through to 9th level core transformation stage. Finally, after completing the task, he successfully advanced to the 9th level of the core transformation stage. This speed was amazing. According to the EXP given by the Hidden Chain Quest, Yi Tianyun will soon break through to peak core transformation stage and officially enter void spirit stage. Amazing! There's also the reward for killing Prime Minister Long. If Prime Minister Long escaped, he wouldn't be able to get this reward. This meant that killing Prime Minister Long was not a necessary condition. As long as the enemy was driven away, there was no need to kill them all. If he could kill Prime Minister Long, the reward would be doubled, and he would get a lot of experience. In addition, Prime Minister Long was originally an enemy. If he was not killed, it would be tantamount to letting a tiger return to the mountain. This Prime Minister Long should be killed if possible. Yi Tianyun didn't know how strong Prime Minister Long was, but he was sure that he wasn't weak. How could someone who could become a great emperor be weak? Brother, what are you thinking about? Renjiro asked as she looked at Yi Tianyun. It's nothing. It seems that Prime Minister Long will be furious when he finds out that Brother Ren is back. He might even attack the imperial capital. Of course, Yi Tianyun wasn't guessing. The mission had clearly indicated that Prime Minister Long would attack. This is not impossible. Prime Minister Long has always wanted to sit in this position, so it is not surprising that he would attack immediately. However, with their current strength, I'm afraid that they won't be able to capture the imperial capital. Even if we are not strong, it is not easy to deal with them. Ren Long said with a sneer. What if we join forces with the Netherworld Empire? Yi Tianyun asked. Join forces with the Netherworld Empire? Ren Long was startled for a moment. Are you saying that Prime Minister Long will join forces with the Netherworld Empire? Yes, I think that some of the people who came to capture Jiro are from the Netherworld Empire. They are trained to use the same martial arts. Yi Tianyun said. If that's the case, it will be difficult. I remember that the imperial teacher of the Netherworld Empire is very powerful. He has studied the Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure very thoroughly. If he personally takes action, I am afraid that its power will be greatly reduced. The reason why Ren Long wasn't worried was that they would use the Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure. Who would be able to defeat them? But now that the imperial teacher was here, he could suppress the Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure. The power of the Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure was amazing, but it was not invincible. Ren Long and the others fell silent as they felt a bit of pressure. Is there no other tyrannical experts in the Heavenly Dragon Empire? For example, the old ancestor or your father? Yi Tianyun asked. This. Ren Long said awkwardly. They all left. I don't know where they went. I heard that they went to look for their ancestors and never came back. Is there no way to contact them? Yi Tianyun asked. If there is a way to contact them, I won't be so worried. With them here, let alone Prime Minister Long, even if the Netherworld Empire comes, we won't be afraid. Ren Long said solemnly. They didn't have parents, but they chose to leave after Ren Long took office. They didn't die, but they went to look for their ancestors. This was awkward. His son's empire was about to be destroyed, yet he didn't come back to take a look. It seems that we can only rely on ourselves for now. Yi Tianyun said with a wry smile. Heavenly Cloud Mansion's power was not bad, but it couldn't compete with the Netherworld Empire's power. Yes, we can only rely on ourselves. Ren Long said solemnly, I believe that with our strength, we can definitely defend the Heavenly Dragon Empire and not let them dip their fingers in. Good. Yi Tianyun felt Ren Long's aura and said with a smile, then let us guard this place and teach them a lesson. Brother, you don't need to stay. You have helped us a lot. Renjiro said worriedly. I am the guardian of the Heavenly Dragon Empire. How can I leave? Yi Tianyun said with a smile. Guardian? Ren Long immediately patted Yi Tianyun's shoulder. Yes, you are the guardian of the Heavenly Dragon Empire. I don't have any brothers in my life. I wonder if Brother Yi can become my brother? Become my brother? It would be my honor. Yi Tianyun said with a smile. Well, let's become brothers. What do you think, little sister? Ren Long said with a smile. That's great. One is my big brother, and the other is my sworn brother. It's great that we're sworn brothers. Renjiro clapped her hands. Then what are we waiting for? We don't need to prepare too much. Ren Long took out a pot of wine and poured out 2 cups. He handed 1 cup to Yi Tianyun and said with a smile. Come, I don't have any special etiquette here. After a toast, we will be brothers from now on. Good. Tianyun didn't spend much time with Rinlong, but he knew that Rinlong was a heroic man. Rinlong even sacrificed his own life to save him. Tianyun was very touched by Rinlong's actions. Chapter 397. Dang! The two of them clinked their glasses together and poured the wine into their mouths, indicating that they had officially become brothers. Although they were not related by blood, they were as close as brothers and supported each other. Brother E. Big brother Ren. Tianyun was the younger one, so he was naturally the younger brother. This was the first time he recognized a brother. Rinlong was a man of good character, so he was worthy of being friends with. That's enough. Brothers, have you forgotten about me? Renjiro filled their glasses and poured herself a glass of wine. Although I have no share, I am very happy to know each other. Yes, let's fight against Prime Minister Long together. Rinlong laughed. No matter how many people come, we will kill them all. Tianyun laughed. Yes, the three of us will support the whole Heavenly Dragon Empire. Renjiro said. Immediately, the three of them clinked their glasses together and drank the wine in one gulp. There is not much time left. Do you have any countermeasures? Tianyun asked. No special countermeasures. I will go and gather all the families and generals to make preparations. Also, exclude all those who support Prime Minister Long and even imprison them to prevent them from rebelling. Rinlong said. After Rinlong finished speaking, he went to gather everyone. This matter had nothing to do with them anymore. Now that Rinlong was back, he was in charge of everything. His management skills were definitely better than Renjiro's. After all, he was the real great emperor who managed the Heavenly Dragon Empire in good order. It was precisely because the Heavenly Dragon Empire was so well managed that their parents chose to leave. If the empire was in chaos, they would not have left. Before they left, they asked Prime Minister Long to help them. Who knew that Prime Minister Long was a traitor? By the way, what is the Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure? Tianyun asked. He had been staying here for a long time, so he thought of the Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure. This is simple. Brother, come with me. I will take you to see it. Renjiro smiled. Is it convenient? Tianyun was worried that Renjiro would have a problem with it. How is it inconvenient? You are my brother now, what secrets do you have? Furthermore, this isn't a secret. You can look at it whenever you want. As long as you can control it, you are its master. Renjiro smiled and said, but so far, only the two of us can control the entire Heavenly Dragon Empire. Only the purest Heavenly Dragon bloodline can control the Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure. That makes sense. Since you don't mind, why don't you take me to see this Celestial Dragon's secret treasure? Tianyun smiled. Renjiro then led him underground. There was a long tunnel leading underground. Obviously, the Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure was placed underground. There were no guards here, as if it was completely open to the public. However, the area where the Celestial Dragon's secret treasure was stored was already within the royal palace. Without the authority, it was impossible to enter. As they went deeper and deeper, Tianyun felt a Heavenly Dragon's might coming from the ground. It was very similar to the Heavenly Dragon skeleton. If it wasn't for the slight difference, he would have thought that there was another Heavenly Dragon skeleton here. After walking out of the staircase, what came into view was not a Heavenly Dragon skeleton, but a pearl the size of a head floating in the air. A wave of energy surged up from the ground and flowed into the pearl. There were countless veins on the ground, as if they were connected to the pearl. Although Tianyun didn't see everything, he believed that the veins on the ground must have covered the entire Heavenly Dragon Imperial City. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to use the Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure to protect himself and the entire Imperial City. Upon closer inspection, he noticed that there were also fine veins on the surface of the pearl, churning continuously within it. Tianyun looked up and quickly analyzed the pearl with the appraisal eye. Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure, low-grade divine artifact. Forged with Heavenly Dragon soul, Heavenly Dragon skeleton and Heavenly Dragon blood essence, requires Grandmaster level blacksmith. able to use the power of the heavenly dragon to summon a void spirit stage heavenly dragon to fight against enemies. When necessary, it can also protect oneself and resist attacks. A divine artifact level treasure. No wonder. This was a treasure that was stronger than a divine artifact. According to the ranking, it was ordinary iron, spiritual artifact, soul artifact, divine artifact. Although it was only a low-grade divine artifact, it was already a top-notch treasure. Even divine artifacts were rare, let alone divine artifacts. With the support of the divine rune array, this heavenly dragon secret treasure could be used everywhere in the Imperial City. Heavenly dragon soul, heavenly dragon skeleton. I have both of them. I just lack the heavenly dragon blood essence to forge it. But my level is not high enough. It's still too difficult for a Grandmaster blacksmith? Yi Tianyun shook his head. It seemed like he was not strong enough to forge the heavenly dragon secret treasure. This heavenly dragon secret treasure is a divine artifact. Yi Tianyun sighed. Yes, this heavenly dragon secret treasure is a divine artifact. Even the Netherworld Empire doesn't have a divine artifact. They have always wanted to invade us for this divine artifact, and also for the territory of our heavenly dragon empire. Rinjiro explained. No wonder it can't be controlled. This thing should recognize its owner by itself, right? I heard that divine artifacts have the strongest spirituality and can recognize its owner. Yi Tianyun said. Yes, drip a drop of blood on it. If you pass the test, you can use this heavenly dragon secret treasure. There is no limit to the number of people who can use it. Renjiro said. Prime Minister Long dripped his blood on it, but it was rejected by the heavenly dragon secret treasure. That's why he couldn't become a great emperor. If I can't even control this heavenly dragon secret treasure, how can I protect the heavenly dragon empire? Yi Tianyun nodded. This was like a test. If he failed the test, he would lose the chance to become a great emperor. Unfortunately, his strength and prestige were high enough, but his blood essence was not pure enough. Yi Tianyun walked towards the heavenly dragon secret treasure. The closer he got to it, the stronger the energy within it became. Can I touch it? Yi Tianyun asked. Of course you can. But you have to be gentle. If you try to break it, you will be seriously injured. Renjiro said. Many people tried to steal this heavenly dragon secret treasure, but in the end, they were seriously injured by the backlash. Yi Tianyun nodded and reached out to touch the heavenly dragon secret treasure. He wanted to feel the energy flow within it. When Yi Tianyun touched the heavenly dragon secret treasure, the whole heavenly dragon secret treasure suddenly burst into a dazzling light, quickly enveloping Yi Tianyun. Chapter 398. The heavenly dragon's secret treasure released a burst of light that completely enveloped him and quickly poured into his body. After a while, the light disappeared. After the light disappeared, Yi Tianyun immediately felt that he had merged with the heavenly dragon's secret treasure and was able to control its power at any time. This situation stunned him. He didn't expect such a situation to occur. It was a bit beyond his expectations. He had just touched the heavenly dragon's secret treasure and he did not even drip his blood on it. What's going on? Yi Tianyun asked in confusion. Big brother, you've successfully acknowledged me as your master? How did you do it? Renjiro hurried over, her eyes filled with shock. I don't know. Yi Tianyun said helplessly. He just wanted to touch the heavenly dragon's secret treasure and feel its energy flow. Why don't you give it a try and see if you can really control it? Renjiro said. Yi Tianyun nodded and immediately stretched out his hand. The heavenly dragon's secret treasure released a burst of light that instantly enveloped him and formed an indestructible shield around his body. He can really control the heavenly dragon's secret treasure. It's incredible. Renjiro was stunned. Although she knew that the heavenly dragon's secret treasure had recognized him as its master, she was still shocked when she saw that he could actually control it. Prime Minister Long had the bloodline of the heavenly dragon, but he could not control the heavenly dragon's secret treasure. How could an outsider like Yi Tianyun be able to recognize him as its master? Is it the bloodline of the dragon god? Tianyun immediately thought that it was the bloodline of the dragon god. If it was not the bloodline of the dragon god, he could not think of any other reason. When he killed the heavenly dragon skeleton, he gained experience points and the bloodline of the dragon god. This meant that the bloodline of the dragon god was the dominant bloodline power, which was equivalent to the supreme bloodline of the dragon clan. How could it not be able to control the heavenly dragon's secret treasure? Especially now that the heavenly dragon's secret treasure had reached the 5th level, although it was not full, the concentration was already very high. It was impossible for the heavenly dragon's secret treasure to not have a high concentration. While he was guessing, Renjiro smiled and said, "This is really amazing. If I tell my brother, he will definitely be shocked. According to this rule, big brother, you are really a citizen of our heavenly dragon empire. In this way, the 3 of them will be able to control the heavenly dragon's secret treasure and release more power." "You can control 3 at the same time? Won't this disperse the power?" Tianyun asked in confusion. "Of course not. We can't unleash the full power of the heavenly dragon's secret treasure. We can only unleash a small portion of its power. It's probably because we're not strong enough to unleash its full potential. If we were stronger, or if our bloodline power was stronger, the effect would be different," Renjiro said with a smile. Tianyun nodded. That was the right way of thinking. It was the same as how ordinary cultivators wielded weapons. If one's cultivation base was too low, using sacred artifacts or soul artifacts would not allow them to unleash their full power. They would only be able to unleash a small portion of their power. "That's unexpected. I'm just here to take a look." Tianyun shook his head. "Isn't this good? It proves that you really belong to our heavenly dragon empire," Renjiro said with a sweet smile. "I'll talk to my big brother first. With the 3 of us controlling the heavenly dragon's secret treasure, we will be able to stabilize the situation." Tianyun nodded and walked out with Renjiro. However, he didn't go out with Renjiro. He planned to stay here, because he has no right to manage the affairs of the imperial court. Renjiro and the others can handle these things. He didn't want to listen to them. "I almost forgot, I still have the 4th grade dragon god bloodline. I don't know how much EXP I can get from it." Tianyun almost forgot about this. He got the dragon god bloodline from killing General Long, so he could level up his dragon god bloodline. Now that he got the 4th grade dragon god bloodline, he won't be able to level up his dragon god bloodline. Successfully integrated dragon god bloodline, 4th grade, gained 1 million EXP. Along with the sound, he successfully obtained 1 million EXP, which was only 1/5 of the total EXP. To level up from 5th grade to 6th grade, he needed 5 million crazy point. With his current crazy point, he can definitely level up. It's just that he wants to level up crazy mode. That's the most fundamental power. There are too many things that can be used to increase his crazy mode. Not bad, 1 million EXP, 1 million less EXP. Tianyun is very satisfied, so he thinks this is already very good. Then he continued to draw the lottery. He got a chance to draw the lottery, of course, he won't miss it. After activating Luck Aura, the needle began to spin rapidly, and soon it stopped at the consumable item. "I activated Luck Aura, and it's still consumable item." Tianyun felt speechless. Along with a thud sound, a jade box fell into the inventory. After opening it, a system notification sounded. "Ding! Congratulations on successfully getting 30x EXP card." "Not bad, 30x EXP card." Tianyun smacked his lips. "It's not bad, it's better than giving EXP pill. Using 30x EXP card on a Void Spirit stage cultivator is amazing. It's just that the price is too expensive, he doesn't want to buy it, after all, he wants to level up crazy mode." After the lucky draw, he had nothing else to do. It was meaningless to just stay there. "While I still have time, I'll go to the auction house to see if there's any soul accumulating grass for sale." Tianyun felt that he has nothing to do, so he flew to the imperial city without saying anything. Before he flew out, he saw that there was a heated discussion inside the palace, but he didn't want to get involved. Soon he found a treasure shop outside the imperial city. The name is very bold, Heavenly Dragon Treasure Shop. It was not opened by the Heavenly Dragon Empire itself. It was just a name borrowed from the Heavenly Dragon Empire. Along the way, there were many similar shops, such as Heavenly Dragon Sesame Cake, Heavenly Dragon Weapon Shop, etc. As soon as he entered, someone immediately came up to him with a sweet smile on her face. "What can I do for you, young master?" The female attendant came over and said, "Do you have soul-accumulating grass here?" "I want it." Tianyun asked directly. "Soul-accumulating grass? I'm sorry, we don't have soul-accumulating grass here." The female attendant said apologetically, "No soul-accumulating grass." Tianyun shook his head. It seems that this thing is too rare. When he was about to leave, a middle-aged man came over and whispered, "Brother, I have soul-accumulating grass. Do you want it?" Chapter 399. You have a soul-accumulating grass? Tianyun asked doubtfully. "Yes, I have a soul-accumulating grass. Coincidentally, there is a stalk of soul-accumulating grass. Follow me, it is absolutely true." The middle-aged man looked a bit wretched and did not seem very trustworthy. However, Tianyun still followed him out. Even if he was a swindler, he wanted to see how he was going to trick him. When he was brought to a corner by the wretched man, he quickly took out a stalk of soul-accumulating grass. There was also a small red crystal on top of the soul-accumulating grass. After he saw it, he quickly took off the crystal and casually threw it to the side. However, Tianyun quickly caught the small crystal. "Sorry, I didn't expect there to be a stone inside. Are you interested in this?" The wretched man asked doubtfully. "I am a bit interested. Where did you get this stone?" Tianyun picked up the red crystal and showed it to him. "This thing? I probably brought it with me when I picked the soul-accumulating grass." The wretched man rolled his eyes and said, "You want to know where it is?" "Not really. Compared to this, I want to know where you found the soul-accumulating grass." Tianyun calmly threw the stone to the side. It fell to the ground like a beautiful red stone that no one wanted. The wretched man revealed a disappointed expression but quickly recovered. He smiled and said, "If you want to know, then I can take you there later. But do you want to buy this soul-accumulating grass? The price is definitely not expensive. You only need to give me 1,000,000 spirit stones." The soul-accumulating grass in front of him was indeed a genuine soul-accumulating grass. Even the appraisal eye could detect it. However, it was picked before it matured, so its effect would be greatly reduced. This was truly a waste of natural resources. However, by the time it slowly matured, it would probably have been picked by others. It would take too long. 500,000 spirit stones, one price. Tianyun said indifferently, "You wanted to go to the Heavenly Dragon Treasure Pavilion to sell it, right? I think the price given by these pavilions would definitely be very low. Under normal circumstances, it would be good if they could give you 300,000. Although the soul-accumulating grass is rare, it would not be so expensive. The remaining 200,000 taels can be considered as your travel expenses." The soul-accumulating grass was very rare, but it did not mean that there was a market for it. Its effect was still limited. Even with such a high price, he could only increase the effect by a little. No one else would be willing to do that. It seems that this gentleman knows his stuff. All right then, 500,000 taels it is. The wretched man gritted his teeth. He originally wanted to take advantage of the situation, but he didn't expect to meet an expert. All right then, 500,000 taels it is. Tianyun immediately transferred 500,000 spirit stones over. He still had this little bit of money. After killing so many experts, his net worth was not small. Not to mention 500,000 taels, he could even take out 5,000,000 taels. However, he did not want to be cheated. Being rich didn't mean that he was willing to be ripped off. Otherwise, no matter how much money he had, he would lose it all. Thank you, sir." The wretched man smiled and handed the soul-accumulating grass to Tianyun. He was quite satisfied with the 500,000 spirit stones. After putting away the soul-accumulating grass, he made an inviting gesture to Tianyun. "Sir, please come with me, I will lead the way for you." After receiving the money, his attitude immediately underwent a huge change. It was true that the rich were the masters. At the moment when the wretched man turned around, Tianyun stretched out his hand and the red crystal on the ground was immediately sucked into his palm and placed in his inventory. Soon, the wretched man led him out of the imperial capital. He walked slowly and did not have any means of transportation. He was really poor. How far is the place you are talking about? Tianyun frowned. He didn't want to drag this out. It's 30 miles away from the river, you can reach there in half a day by foot. In the next moment, Tianyun grabbed him by the shoulder and flew in the direction he was pointing, which scared him out of his wits. Core Transformation Stage Cultivator. The wretched man's face turned pale. He couldn't resist the attack of a Core Transformation Stage Cultivator. His cultivation was only at second or third level of core condensation. How could he resist the attack of a Core Transformation Stage Cultivator? Don't worry, I won't do anything to you. As long as you tell me the truth, don't blame me for being impolite. Tianyun said coldly. Yes, yes, yes. This little one understands. This little one understands. Soon, under the guidance of Tianyun, they arrived at a small river. After the wretched man was put down, he was still in a state of shock. This is where I found it. I happened to pass by here, and I saw something in the water, so I went down to have a look, but I didn't expect to find a soul accumulating grass. The wretched man pointed to the river and said. Tianyun glanced at the river and immediately found a slight change. Indeed, there were traces of excavation here, and there was a small hole that wasn't filled with sand. Well, you can go now. Tianyun said to Tianyun. Thank you, master, thank you, master. The wretched man turned around and left. He didn't dare to stay for half a step. He was afraid that he would be killed by Tianyun. In this wilderness, the difference in cultivation was so big. If he was killed by Tianyun, not to mention 500,000 spirit stones, even his life would be lost. After the wretched man left, Tianyun took out the small red crystal again and squinted his eyes. Phoenix Companion Crystal. I didn't expect that there would be a Phoenix Companion Crystal in a small river. You know about soul accumulating grass, but you don't know about Phoenix Companion Crystal. It seems that I am lucky. The small red crystal in his hand was not a beautiful stone, but a Phoenix Companion Crystal. To put it bluntly, this thing can only appear when a phoenix is born. This means that there is a possibility that there is a phoenix egg nearby. The phoenix is a divine beast, how can he miss it? Moreover, the imperial capital is not far away, so he should take advantage of the time to find this phoenix egg. As a pet, the more the better. He won't complain about having too many divine beasts. Immediately, Tianyun walked forward. Along the way, he opened his mental power to the maximum and constantly explored the situation at the bottom of the river, not letting go of a single detail. He wanted to explore whether there was a passage or something else at the bottom of the river. According to his guess, there is a high possibility that there is a living phoenix in this area. Looking at it, it is very likely that it was born not long ago. Otherwise, how could there be a companion crystal? If a living phoenix is subdued, the benefits are self-evident. In the future, if it is carefully cultivated, not only can it become a mount, it can also be used to fight everywhere. Chapter 400. A newly born phoenix. Tianyun's eyes flickered with excitement. He only wanted the soul accumulating grass, but who knew that he would find a living little phoenix? That was indeed unexpected. Of course, it was also possible that the phoenix had already left, but there was definitely a living phoenix that had appeared here. No matter what, he had to carefully search for it. If there really was a phoenix, but he did not go look for it, it would be a pity. This place was only a short period of time away from the Heavenly Dragon Imperial capital, so even if there were strong enemies surrounding him, he could quickly return. There was no need to worry at all. After investigating along the way, he suddenly stopped. There was a hole in the small river that had a steady stream of spring water gushing out from it. The hole was not big, but it was not small either. It was just enough to accommodate one person. Tianyun's body was neither big nor small, just enough to fit in. However, he was not in a hurry to jump down immediately. Instead, he first mobilized his spiritual sense and frantically probed below. With his astonishing spiritual sense, it was enough to probe the situation several miles away. However, if he were to probe in detail, he would not be able to probe that far. Probing this hole was not a problem. His spiritual sense probed the hole and quickly found a path. At least it was not a dead end. As he continued to probe, it became a little blurry because the distance was too far, but he could still probe a rough path. Lee Tianyun raised his head and looked into the distance. There was a mountain not far away, and the water here flowed down from that mountain. He first looked at the mountain, then looked at the unfathomable hole and made up his mind. Let's go down from here. Lee Tianyun jumped down and sank to the bottom of the river. Then he quickly swam towards the hole. Like a fish, he drilled in at an extremely fast speed and entered the hole. The reason why he did not go straight to the mountain was because he felt that the companion crystal should have come from here. To rush over from such a far place, it needed a stronger current. The current of the river was not rapid. The current that came out from the hole was still relatively rapid. It was enough to wash the companion crystal over, so he first investigated this place. If his judgment was wrong, he could just go back the way he came. It was not difficult at all. As he went deeper, the deeper he went, the more he could feel the turbulence of the water. The force of the current was enough to push small rocks up. Soon he continued to swim deeper. After swimming for a long time, he finally started to reach the top. When he looked up, he saw a faint light coming from above. "We're here." Tianyun's eyes lit up. He immediately increased his speed and swam upwards. Crash! He jumped up and immediately felt a wave of heat coming from all directions. This feeling was comparable to the heat he felt in the cave when he saved Yi Qingxian. When he looked up carefully, he saw a huge parasol tree in front of him. Its fiery red leaves swayed, and every time they swayed, a wave of heat would come over, as if it wanted to chase him away. Under the fire parasol tree, there was a tiny phoenix. It looked rather small and had clearly just hatched. It was quietly resting under the fire parasol tree. There were many pieces of companion crystals around it, probably leftovers. It seemed that when the little phoenix emerged from the eggshell, a small piece of companion crystal bounced out and fell into the hole, which was why it was washed up into the river. Other than that, there were no exits around. It was completely sealed in the cave. In fact, there was still an exit, but it was sealed. His sharp eyes saw that the side was engraved with divine glyphs to hide this place. At least from the outside, it was impossible to detect this place. The only way to come up was through this underground passage. Fortunately, that person only knew about the soul-accumulating grass and didn't know much about the Phoenix Companion Crystal. It could only be said that this thing was even rarer. The soul-accumulating grass might have appeared outside, but divine beasts were too rare at the moment. They had almost disappeared, and no one knew where they went. There really is a little phoenix. Lee Tianyun was excited. Just as he climbed up, the fire parasol tree swayed crazily. More than 10 leaves turned into sharp swords and shot towards him. Halfway through, there was a sudden whoosh, and the leaves turned into balls of flames that wrapped around him. Whoosh! Lee Tianyun reached out and grabbed the flames, quickly absorbing them into his body. Ding! Successfully obtained 50 proficiency points of inextinguishable flame. After absorbing, it can turn into proficiency points. This is not bad. Lee Tianyun's eyes lit up. He didn't expect that he could increase proficiency points. It was too difficult to level up the inextinguishable flame. Refining a large batch of elixirs could only increase a few hundred to 1,000 proficiency points, so it was hard to level it up. Leveling up the inextinguishable flame, other than giving him powerful flames, would also increase the success rate of refining elixirs and forging. The latter was especially important. Seeing that he could increase proficiency points, he instantly felt very comfortable. He didn't expect the fire parasol tree to attack. Fortunately, the power was limited and not very strong. If his cultivation was a little lower, he would definitely be burned to ashes. He looked up and the detailed information immediately appeared in front of him. Fire Phoenix Tree, Cultivation Level 8 Spirit Core Stage. A tree born after the complete death of a phoenix. It has a trace of the soul memory of its life and can attack outsiders. Martial art, Phoenix Fire. Kill it and drop inextinguishable flame and phoenix soul. It seemed that this was not a fire phoenix tree, but a fire phoenix tree. Moreover, it was born after the death of a phoenix. Although he had always heard of the immortal phoenix, it was not really immortal. As long as it was seriously injured, it would still die. If the injury was not serious, it would recover quickly. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, a few more leaves flew over and quickly turned into balls of fire. But they were all absorbed by him and turned into proficiency points of inextinguishable flame. As he got closer, the flames erupted more and more fiercely. However, the leaves on the fire phoenix tree were becoming fewer and fewer. If he continued to attack like this, he would definitely use up the last of his spiritual power and completely wither. This was just her final struggle to protect her child from the attack. He thought that after the phoenix died, it turned into a fire phoenix tree and chose to protect his child until the last moment. Chapter 401. The closer Tianyun got, the more ferocious the fire phoenix tree's attacks became, but this would only end its life faster. To him, these flames were nothing more than supplements. They didn't cause any harm at all. It was just that he couldn't bear to do so. It was really touching for a mother to go this far. "Stop, I have no ill intentions," Tianyun shouted. He didn't know if it could understand him. The flames didn't stop and continued to attack him. Several balls of flames continued to attack him, but they were absorbed into his body and turned into proficiency. It seemed like it was meaningless. This fire phoenix tree didn't stop at all. "I saw a small piece of companion crystal outside, so I came to check it out." Tianyun looked at the little phoenix and said in a deep voice, "I know you are biased against humans, but your child looks very weak. If this continues, the so-called undying phoenix will still die." There was nothing to eat here. It was completely bare. A newborn little phoenix needed a lot of nutrients. After eating the eggshell and companion crystal, there was nothing else to eat. Even if it ate the fire phoenix tree behind it, it wouldn't be able to grow quickly. At this time, the flames really stopped and didn't continue to attack. It was effective. He was just trying it out, but he didn't expect it to be effective. It only paused for a moment before continuing to attack. The flames were weaker than before. It was obvious that it was hesitating. The most important thing was that it could understand and still had a little consciousness. It was just that it couldn't speak. I can swear that I will treat it well from now on. I can even send it back to its hometown. I will never hurt it, and I will not extract its blood essence." Tianyun wasn't afraid of the flames, but he still had some conscience. It was because of this little phoenix that he chose to do so. Purging this fire phoenix tree was considered a good deed. Many cultivators' eyes lit up when they saw divine beasts. Every part of a divine beast was a treasure. Whether it was a dragon or a phoenix, they were all amazing divine beasts. Their blood essence was very precious. Tianyun had enjoyed it before. That was the dragon god's bloodline. It was just a little bit of dragon blood, and it wasn't very pure. The benefits it brought were self-evident. A living little phoenix could absolutely be sold for a sky-high price. If this little phoenix was taken out and discovered, it would definitely shock many forces. Among them, the grade 4 forces would immediately set out to snatch it. Tianyun guessed that the other party was unwilling to let him go because of this point. Even if it died, it didn't want a human to take away the mythological beast. At that time, it would be worse than death. Although he swore an oath to send him back to his hometown, there was not much meaning to it. If the little phoenix was nurtured a little more, would he still be afraid that this phoenix wouldn't follow him? Even if he didn't follow him, he could still send him back to the phoenix nest. The reward he would receive would definitely be amazing. He had to look further ahead. He wouldn't kill the phoenix for its essence blood. There was no need for that. If little phoenix didn't want to follow him, he might be able to befriend the phoenix clan and become their friend. By then, the phoenix tree had stopped its attacks. It seemed that it had been convinced. Making an oath was not something that could be easily broken. If it were to break the oath, it would surely suffer the wrath of heaven. Seems like it's really effective. Lee Tanyun heaved a sigh of relief when he saw the phoenix tree stop attacking. He didn't hesitate for too long and immediately started to make an oath. I, Tianyun, will do my best to send little Phoenix back to its hometown in my lifetime. Otherwise, I will suffer the wrath of heaven. He didn't hesitate for too long and immediately swore the oath. After he swore the oath, a divine rune condensed in the sky and branded itself into his soul. This meant that as long as he didn't break the oath, he would never be able to break it. This should be the rule of heaven. It made the oath not a lie but a real effect. If anyone broke the oath, it would be fatal. After making the oath, the phoenix tree really stopped attacking. As he approached, the phoenix tree still didn't attack. It seemed like it trusted him completely and wouldn't attack him. When he arrived under the phoenix tree, the fire phoenix tree began to sway. Countless leaves floated down and landed on his body. The leaves of the phoenix tree made a whoosh sound and turned into flames. However, these flames were different from the previous ones. They were pure fire spiritual energy and they merged into Yi Tianyun's body. Successfully obtained Immortal Flame 500 proficiency points, 600 proficiency points, 1000 proficiency points, 900 proficiency points. The proficiency points increased rapidly. It was much more than before. The previous attack was a consumption type. Although it was absorbed, it would more or less consume some. Now that it was poured into his body, it wouldn't cause him any harm, so the effect would be more obvious. Then, a shadow appeared on the phoenix tree. A huge phoenix floated up and looked at him with a gentle gaze. You are different from the humans I have seen. I will pour the remaining phoenix fire into your body. You can use it in the future. The stronger your cultivation, the more you can use it. This will be of great help to you. The phoenix's tone became tired and powerless. It felt like it would disappear at any time. Is there anything I can help you with? Yi Tianyun asked. Just help me send back to the phoenix nest. Please, human. After sending him back, our phoenix clan will reward you. We won't treat you badly, please. More leaves flew up and turned into countless amounts of energy that flowed into his body, turning into a huge wave of proficiency. It can be said that the Immortal Flame's proficiency suddenly increased a lot. Ding! Congratulations on successfully leveling up Immortal Flame to middle grade Earth level. Flame power increased by 3 times. Forging and alchemy success rate increased. The next level requires 500,000 proficiency points. Yi Tianyun successfully leveled up. Maybe he didn't get any kill reward, but the reward he got was more than the kill reward. It seems that the increase in proficiency is a lot. If the level of Immortal Flame is too low after killing it, he still can't level up his Immortal Flame, so this is undoubtedly a better choice. Ding! Successfully accepted side quest. Send little fire phoenix back to phoenix nest. Fulfill phoenix's wish. Reward: 200 million EXP, 1 million crazy point, 300 prestige point, 100 phoenix clan favorability point. Chapter 402. I'll leave my child to you, please. The fire phoenix tree quickly turned into ashes that drifted in all directions. Its soul also quickly disappeared, faintly about to disappear. The sleeping little phoenix suddenly woke up and raised its head to look at the fire phoenix tree that had been protecting it. It had already become bare and was about to disappear at any moment. It hurriedly stood up. Because it was extremely weak, its petite body swayed and almost fell to the ground. Woo woo woo, it cried out, its eyes filled with tears. It was full of reluctance towards this fire phoenix tree. Perhaps it already knew that this fire phoenix tree was its mother's incarnation. Now that the fire phoenix tree was about to disappear, it meant that its mother, who was protecting it, was about to leave. Child, goodbye. It revealed a faint smile and disappeared completely. Looking at the disappearing figure, Yi Tianyun sighed deeply. He did not know how this fire phoenix died here, but it seemed that it was seriously injured, which was why it chose to hide here. Tianyun squatted down and reached out to hug it, but this little phoenix began to be vigilant. Its sharp beak pecked over, full of hostility. He smiled faintly and operated the inextinguishable flame in his body. The familiar flame surged out slightly and circulated on his palm. After absorbing the phoenix fire, his inextinguishable flame naturally had a familiar aura, an aura that could make the little phoenix feel at ease. This scorching heat dried up the surrounding damp ground, but it did not have any effect on this little phoenix. The main thing was that he did not use all of its effects. Otherwise, even if it was a phoenix, it would have been roasted by this flame. The power of the inextinguishable flame was too strong, and the little phoenix's cultivation was too weak. It could not withstand such a strong flame. I have no hostility towards you. Your mother told me to take good care of you. This is what your mother left for me, Lee Tianyun said gently. When this little phoenix felt the familiar aura, it let down its guard. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Lee Tianyun reached out and hugged it, gently caressing its smooth feathers. The small phoenix still looks so beautiful and so cute. The little phoenix narrowed its eyes, enjoying this comforting feeling. It had just been born and had stayed here for a period of time, so it was still a little lonely. Shortly after, Tianyun took out some elixirs. These were all recovery elixirs, and he passed them to the tiger to consume. The moment it smelled the medicinal fragrance, it became spirited. Like jelly beans, it continuously ate them. After taking it, he immediately felt energized. These elixirs were not precious elixirs, they were just some body-refining elixirs that contained pure spiritual power. This was already enough. This was what the little phoenix lacked. In a blink of an eye, Lee Tianyun's medicinal pills were all eaten up and little phoenix still looked at him with a longing gaze, hoping that he would give him some more medicinal pills. Your cultivation is too low. Next time, I will refine a batch of high-level body-refining pills for you. If I give you pills of too high level, you will not be able to bear it. Lee Tianyun smiled. It was indeed a mythological beast. Its small body could not be filled at all. These elixirs were simply not enough to fill its teeth. It was just that its cultivation was too low. It was only at the 7th or 8th level of the body-refining realm. It was born with this level, worthy of being a mythological beast. It was just that even mythological beasts could not bear too high-level elixirs. High-level elixirs were easy to cause problems. The little phoenix made a sound and happily touched his palm. It was very intimate. Obviously, it had a great impression of Lee Tianyun. Under the familiar flame and elixirs, its favorability skyrocketed. After he stayed here for a while, he said to the little phoenix, "Little guy, I want you to go to a place and stay." After saying that, he let the little phoenix enter his pet bar. He couldn't leave the little phoenix outside, so he could only put it in his inventory. If it were to casually wander outside, it wouldn't take more than a day for it to encounter a fatal disaster. His sin value was already high enough. It was absolutely incomparable to pulling hatred. Although he was not afraid, there were too many things to do now. It was better to cause less trouble. Well, it's time to leave. Lee Tianyun glanced around. There was no strange place around, and there were no treasures. The phoenix's skeleton had already become a part of the fire phoenix tree, so there was no good thing here. When he was just about to leave, he heard a dong-dong sound in his ear, followed by a boom sound. Many stones on the side collapsed, and a huge gap appeared. Finally, this big array was destroyed. If it wasn't a little rotten, it would be really difficult to destroy. But it's really hidden. I don't know what kind of treasures are inside. There must be treasures. I found the phoenix companion crystal outside. It is very likely that the phoenix is here. Immediately after, several figures fell from above and looked inside with great interest. When they saw Lee Tianyun standing here, they were all stunned. Lee Tianyun looked at them and was immediately happy. He did not expect to meet an acquaintance here. Among the several people who fell, one of them was Su Jian, who was previously at the Coiling Dragon Cave. He did not expect to see him here. "It's you." When Su Jian saw Lee Tianyun, he was angry on the spot. They had worked so hard to dig for so long, but when they landed, not only did they not see any treasures, but they also saw a living person here. Lee Tianyun shook his head. Fortunately, he came in time, otherwise, the little phoenix would definitely be taken away. It was too easy to destroy the fire phoenix tree. Even if it was not enough, they could call for help. It seemed that they also found the Phoenix Companion crystal. From the conversation just now, Yi Tianyun could roughly guess the situation. It seemed that they were lucky, but unfortunately, Yi Tianyun was even luckier. It's really been a long time. Why don't you go to the Coiling Dragon Cave? Yi Tianyun smiled lightly. In addition to Su Jian, there were two other strong cultivators. One of them had reached the 6th level of the core transformation stage, which was the highest cultivation among all of them. Obviously, he was moved by the Phoenix Companion crystal and immediately came to look for it. He would definitely be happy to help if he could get a little phoenix, but who knew that there was nothing here? Do you know him? Liao Yunguang turned his head and looked at Su Jian, asking for his opinion. Of course, I know him. Even if he turns into ashes, I will still recognize him. Su Jian gritted his teeth and said, "He is the bastard I told you before. He beat me and my friend. Brother Liao, your brother's leg was broken by him." "What? He is the one who broke my brother's leg?" Liao Yunguang's eyes were extremely cold. "I originally wanted to settle this matter with you, but it seems that you have come to me personally." Chapter 403. He didn't expect that the core transformation stage cultivator next to him would be the elder brother of the cultivator whose leg was broken by Yi Tianyun. It was true that the big one came after the small one was defeated. But they didn't come to seek revenge. Instead, they met here. Break my leg? They already kicked me. Do you think I'm stupid enough to let you kick me? Yi Tianyun said indifferently. Some actions need to pay the price. If they were slightly weaker, they would have rolled down the mountain. It wouldn't be a big deal if they rolled down the mountain, but rolling down the Coiling Dragon Cave would seriously injure them. Because it's not life-threatening, Yi Tianyun is merciful. He only broke one of their legs, so that they can go back and use some ointment to recover. They won't be permanently disabled. Really? I agree with you. Some actions need to pay the price. Liao Yunguang looked at him coldly. I'll give you a chance to live. Break your legs. Break my legs? What if I say no? Yi Tianyun smiled. If you don't, I'll cripple you myself. Liao Yunguang's eyes were cold. His core transformation stage aura surged out and swept around, blowing away the grass and stones. Brother Liao, wait a minute. Su Jian sneered and asked sternly. Where are the treasures here? Did you take them for yourself? They quickly turned their attention to the main point. They came here to look for treasures, not to go for a walk. They worked hard to break the concealment formation and thought that they could find treasures, but they didn't expect that there was nothing here except for a living person. Treasures? There is no treasure here. As you can see, what is here now is what was here before. Yi Tianyun squinted his eyes and said, If there is nothing else, then I'll leave first. You guys take your time to look for it. As soon as his voice fell, 3 figures quickly surrounded Yi Tianyun. You want to leave? Not so easy. Su Jian sneered. You can leave, but you have to hand over the treasure. I don't believe that there are no treasures here. Otherwise, how could there be such a concealment formation here? The concealment formation is not bad, but who told you that there is only one exit? When I came in, there was nothing. Believe it or not, it's up to you. Yi Tianyun's words were half true and half false. Other than the little phoenix, there was really no other treasure. From the perspective of treasure hunting, little phoenix was indeed not a treasure. What he said was not wrong, but he did not need to tell the truth to these people. Of course, they weren't telling the truth either. The so-called treasure was the phoenix, but they didn't say it out loud. Instead, they called it a treasure. I didn't expect there to be an entrance. Only then did they notice the pool at the side. Without a doubt, Yi Tianyun had come in from there. We don't believe what you said. Search him properly and we will believe what you said. Su Jian's eyes flashed with viciousness. If you want to live, be honest. Otherwise, not to mention your legs, this place will be your grave today. The 3 of them against one person, especially Su Jian, who felt that Liao Yunguang's cultivation was definitely enough to suppress Yi Tianyun, so he dared to say such words. They didn't believe that Yi Tianyun would not listen to him. Yi Tianyun squinted and looked at them. With their character, if they really search his body, No matter what they have, they will take it away. Even if it is white, they will say it is black. Do you think that I will search you? Yi Tianyun's eyes were slightly cold and he said coldly, don't stop me. If you don't have it, then you don't have it. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Yo, you dare to be arrogant in front of Brother Liao? You're courting death. Su Jian laughed and his face became ferocious. Brother Liao, capture him for me. Since he is not willing to speak, then interrogate him and search him at the same time. That's for sure. It'll be boring if it dies so easily. However, this small character, Ji Long, go deal with him. Practice your skills, don't play him to death. Yes, Brother Liao. Ji Long sneered and looked at Yi Tianyun. Let me see how strong you are. Is your cultivation at the first level of the core transformation stage or the second level of the core transformation stage? Ji Long's cultivation was at the second level of the core transformation stage, which was considered a very good cultivation. Originally, both of them were elders, and they came because they heard that there was a phoenix egg. Otherwise, they really wouldn't be able to invite them. Core transformation stage cultivators were not cabbages, and they couldn't be casually invited. As soon as he finished speaking, Ji Long waved his hand, which turned into a tiger claw, and grabbed towards Yi Tianyun. He lightly stepped on the ground, and his whole body flew up. Immediately, his eyes turned cold, and he locked onto Yi Tianyun's range. In the next moment, he really turned into a fierce tiger, and swooped down from the sky, pressing towards Yi Tianyun fiercely. He only wanted to take Yi Tianyun's head. Tyrannical Tiger Claw. The aura of a core transformation stage cultivator was completely released, and the powerful pressure created a shockwave that swept in all directions, causing the surrounding grass to sway. Yi Tianyun still didn't move, which made the other two onlookers think that he was scared silly. The moment he wanted to take Yi Tianyun's head, a cold light burst out of his eyes, and he quickly lowered his body. He turned around and kicked out with the force of 1,000 caddies. Get lost. This fierce kick was so fast that Ji Long didn't have time to react at all. With a dong sound, he was kicked out like a rubber ball. Immediately, he hit the thick wall, and with a bang, he was bounced back. He looked up and spat out a mouthful of blood, and finally fell to the ground. His body twitched slightly and he no longer moved. It was unknown whether he was dead or alive. But looking at the situation, if he didn't die, he would be crippled. Instant kill. Ji Long was instantly killed in one move. A core transformation stage powerhouse was instantly killed in front of their eyes. With just one kick, Ji Long couldn't move, and it was unknown whether he was dead or alive. This strength was much stronger than when he was dealing with them. Who else? Yi Tianyun looked at them indifferently, without the slightest killing intent, but Su Jian, who was stared at, suddenly trembled in his heart, and a sense of fear surged from the bottom of his heart. They originally thought that Ji Long could defeat Yi Tianyun, but now it seemed that they were too naive. The other party was much stronger than Ji Long. Otherwise, it would be impossible to kill him so easily. Su Jian hurriedly ran over, and when he helped Ji Long up, he was already on the verge of death. He was seriously injured, and a large part of his chest had caved in, and his face was bleeding from his 7 orifices. One could imagine how serious his internal injuries were. Brother Liao. Brother Ji can't hold on any longer. Su Jian hurriedly shouted. Bastard, you're courting death. Liao Yunguang said angrily. Chapter 404. Don't provoke me, but now you provoke me, I want you to die. Liao Yunguang was completely angry, his meridians swelled up, raising his strength to the peak. Since he could kill Ji Long, his cultivation must not be low. He must take this seriously, otherwise, he will suffer a setback. You want me to die? Do you think you are qualified? Yi Tianyun sneered. Teach them a lesson. It is a good thing to teach them how to behave, otherwise, if they go out and provoke others one day, it will not be as simple as a broken leg. Teach us how to behave, then I will teach you how to behave. Liao Yunguang said angrily, attack together. He signaled Su Jian to attack together. Su Jian's cultivation was not high, but if the two of them attacked together, it would more or less have some effect. 2 against 1, this doesn't seem fair. Lee Tianyun looked at the two rushing towards him and sneered. There is no such thing as fairness on the battlefield, childish. Liao Yunguang sneered. Both of them quickly took out their weapons and prepared to suppress Lee Tianyun. Is that so? Then I will also invite 2 helpers to play. Lee Tianyun's eyes flashed and he waved his hand. Come out and get some fresh air. Immediately, 2 huge phantoms were summoned by him. A domineering aura fell from the sky and landed heavily on the ground. Dong! A heavy sound spread throughout the cave. They were scared by this aura and stepped back a few steps, staring at the scene in front of them, 2 giant dragons. One red and one black. The cultivation of the red dragon was at the peak of core transformation stage, and the cultivation of the black dragon was also not low. Under the cultivation of the black dragon, it had reached the 7th or 8th layer of core transformation stage. If this continued, the black dragon would become a void spirit stage divine beast. Mythological beasts? They were shocked. They did not expect that the other side would have 2 mythological beasts. Usually, if someone had 1 mythological beast, it would be a dream come true. Otherwise, they would not have set out to find the phoenix, but they did not find the phoenix, but found 2 giant dragons, and they did not belong to them. Since it's 2 against 1, I'll also call out 2 divine beasts to help out. That way, it'll be slightly more fair. Lee Tianyun smiled faintly. There was no reason for him to do so. He just wanted them to come out for a breather so that he could ruthlessly torture them. Liao Yunguang was shocked speechless by his words. Was this a little fair? Fair my ass. Any one of the 2 divine beasts could easily crush them. How could they compete? How could they fight? They did not hesitate for long before they turned around and ran. However, how could Lee Tianyun allow them to escape? He ordered, kick them back. The 2 giant dragons quickly flew over and blocked the exit in the blink of an eye. They swung their thick dragon tails over, and their speed was so fast that it left afterimages. The 2 of them hurriedly stretched out their weapons to block. With a dang sound, the 2 of them flew out and rolled several times before stopping. Their weapons were all sent flying, and the area between their thumb and forefinger was dripping with blood. They were unable to withstand such a tyrannical strength. If it wasn't for Lee Tianyun telling the 2 giant dragons to be lenient, they would have been dead long ago. Lee Tianyun smiled as he walked over and said, "Want to leave? Do you think that's possible?" Liao Yunguang crawled up from the ground with difficulty. His arm had already caved in. In the face of such a terrifying strength, he was unable to resist at all. He stood up with a distorted face. Panic crawled all over his face. He trembled as he knelt in front of Lee Tianyun and begged for mercy. This big brother, I beg you to let me go. I didn't mean to target you. My younger brother deserves to have his leg broken. As long as you let me go, I can go back and break my younger brother's other leg so that he can reflect on himself. He was afraid that Lee Tianyun would kill him. He did not want to die. He would rather break his younger brother's leg again than let himself die. In his heart, he cursed his younger brother countless times. He actually provoked such a pervert. A pervert with 2 giant dragons? How could he take revenge? This was completely courting death. Just now, you kept saying that you want me to die. Do you think that I will let you go now? Lee Tianyun narrowed his eyes at him. Then go die for me. Suddenly, Liao Yunguang roared crazily. He immediately jumped up from the ground and used all his strength to strike towards Lee Tianyun. Layers of air waves rolled up a golden light and pierced towards Lee Tianyun. A scorching flame rose from Lee Tianyun's palm. Just like that, he firmly met Liao Yunguang's palm. Bang! Lee Tianyun did not move at all. Instead, it was Liao Yunguang who was sent flying. In terms of strength, Liao Yunguang was not on the same level as him. Suddenly, Liao Yunguang screamed miserably. A flame curled up from his arm and madly burned towards his arm. No matter how Liao Yunguang struck, he could not extinguish this flame. This is immortal fire, although it is not truly immortal, but ordinary methods cannot solve it at all. Immediately, he rushed towards the pool of water. At this time, he is turned into a man of fire, and with a bang sound he jumped into the pool. But even if he fell into the pool, the flame continued to burn, and his screams turned into gulu-gulu sound from the bottom of the pool. After a while, Liao Yunguang floated up to the surface. There was no sign of life. Ding, successfully killed Liao Yunguang, gained 390. 000 EXP, 4600 crazy point, 150 SBS. Obtained martial arts breaking palm, sweeping leg god. Obtained item recovery pill, 10. 000 EXP pill, 5 times EXP card. Immortal fire is really powerful after the upgrade. Yi Tianyun is very satisfied with the flame. After the upgrade, its power has increased a lot. It can easily burn a core transformation realm expert to death. The only one left is Su Jian. After he was hit, he was lying on the ground, shivering, and when he struggled to get up, his eyes were filled with fear. Don't kill me. I am willing to be your slave. I will never betray you. Su Jian kept begging for mercy. This kind of playboy is definitely not willing to die. Not to mention he is the young master of Su family. His status is not low. Do you think I will let you live? Yi Tianyun walked towards Su Jian step by step. I know a secret. I found a phoenix companion crystal nearby. It is very likely that there is a phoenix nearby. Su Jian shouted and revealed his biggest secret. Phoenix. Yi Tianyun stretched out his hand, and the little phoenix appeared in his hand. You mean this one? Unfortunately, this is not a secret at all. I already obtained it. There is no need for you to tell me. This. Su Jian's eyes widened. There is really a phoenix nearby. Chapter 405. Su Jian was dumbfounded by this scene. He thought that the information about the phoenix would be his last hope. Who knew that the little phoenix had already fallen into Yi Tianyun's hands? This phoenix is really here? Su Jian was stunned for a moment, then immediately begged for mercy. I won't tell anyone. I just beg you to let me go. I will never cause trouble for you in the future. Do you think I will believe you? Yi Tianyun waved his hand, and 2 giant dragons pounced forward. Accompanied by a scream, Su Jian and Ji Long, who was lying on the side, were completely crushed to death, turning into a lot of experience points. Only dead people keep secrets. Yi Tianyun did not want to cause more trouble. If he let Su Jian go back, he would definitely tell everyone about everything. Since he had even released the giant dragons, it meant that he was going to kill them. He would definitely not let Su Jian live. Immediately after, Yi Tianyun took back all the pets, and after searching them, he used the immortal fire to destroy the corpses and completely burn them to ashes. It's almost time to leave here. This time's harvest is not small, and I even got a phoenix. I can take it back for my aunt to raise. Yi Tianyun smiled. The current little phoenix was too small, and it needed to be cultivated for a period of time. Otherwise, it would be too weak. After packing up, he quickly flew out of the passageway and headed outside. From the passage they came in, they found that this was indeed the inside of the mountain, and it was a very remote place, but they found it. Their luck was not bad. As long as they searched carefully, they would be able to find it. When he returned to the imperial capital, there was no change in the battle situation. The Heavenly Dragon imperial capital was as usual, and there was no big change. In fact, he did not leave for too long, at most half a day. Naturally, there would not be any change in the battle situation. If Prime Minister Long wanted to attack, he would need a lot of time to prepare. He would not attack immediately. This was undoubtedly too careless. As soon as he returned to the palace, Renjiro hurried over and said, "Brother, where did you go? I couldn't find you everywhere." "I'm going out to find some treasures." Yi Tianyun smiled mysteriously. Just as he was about to keep them in suspense, Renjiro grabbed him and dragged him towards the imperial hall. Now is not the time to talk about such things. Big Brother has something important to announce. He has been waiting for you for a long time. Renjiro didn't care about what treasure he was talking about. She just led him outside. "Have you been waiting for me for a long time? What does this have to do with me?" Soon after, under Renjiro's lead, they walked out of the imperial court hall. Outside the imperial court hall, many ministers had already gathered. All of them were supporters of Renlongi. Yi Tianyun looked around and saw that there were about 20 to 30 people. All of them were at the core transformation stage. These were the elders of the big families, or the patriarchs, and the ministers of the Heavenly Dragon Empire. Below each of the ministers was actually a family's power. This meant that there were 20 to 30 representatives gathered here. That was how powerful the Heavenly Dragon Empire was. When dozens of second and third level forces gathered together, they would become a fourth level force. Among them, Yi Tianyun saw a familiar face. It was Hua Xiang. Hua Xiang followed Yi Tianyun to the Imperial Court Hall. When they appeared, everyone's eyes were fixed on them. Their eyes were filled with impatience. They didn't welcome them at all. Who is this brat? He hasn't come for so long, making us wait for so long. That's right. Where did he come from? He looks so young. Is he qualified? If he doesn't have the ability, I won't approve of him. One by one, the ministers expressed their dissatisfaction. Most of them were curious about Renlongi's identity. Big Brother Ren, what's going on? Yi Tianyun felt a little embarrassed. He didn't think that he would be called. It seemed that he had missed something. Where have you been? Renlongi smiled and asked. I went out for a bit. I didn't expect that I would be called out here. Yi Tianyun felt helpless. I didn't expect you to go out either. Renlongi turned his head to look at the crowd and said, He is my sworn brother. In the future, he will be the king of the Heavenly Dragon Empire. What? A sworn brother of the great Emperor Ren? They were immediately stunned. A king had said that he would do it, and his background was unknown. How could they be convinced? Great Emperor, I do not object to you acknowledging your brother, but to casually accept the title of king is related to power. To be able to mobilize a large portion of the power of the entire Heavenly Dragon Imperial capital, to hand it over to him so casually, this is too casual. The minister who walked out was none other than the patriarch of the Su family, Su Wenlong. From his appearance, Yi Tianyun could tell that Su Fei was somewhat similar to him. It was obvious that they were father and son. Yes, I also object. If you are unable to convince us, we will not approve of this king. Another minister walked out. They were loyal and devoted to Renlongi, but that did not mean that they would all support Renlongi's actions. After disappearing for so many years, he had just returned and was about to appoint Yi Tianyun as the king. This was too rash. Yi Tianyun was stunned at the sight. To make him a king, he really had to think it over and over again. The king's power was very great, even higher than Renjiro's. Other than them, everyone else expressed their opposition. Renlongi was not surprised by their objections. Anyone would be dissatisfied if they were to casually appoint an unknown person as the king. If you all object, then what do you have to do in order to agree with him? Renlongi said unhurriedly, We are not familiar with him at all, and we have not made any contributions. How can we convince the masses? And strength. Without strength, how could he sit in this position? If the great emperor does not have a reason to convince us, we will not agree. They all expressed their opposition. If there was no persuasion, of course, they would not allow Yi Tianyun to become the king. He saved me, is that enough? If it wasn't for him, I would not have been able to come out from the coiling dragon cave. Renlongi said lightly. Everyone was startled and immediately looked at Yi Tianyun in shock. They did not expect this young man to have such ability. But he does not have any prestige, he will not be able to convince the masses. There were still people who did not buy it. Saving people was one thing, but saving Renlongi was not enough to make him a king. The guard had also saved the princess. How could he become the prince's son-in-law? Renlongi frowned. It seemed that after a few years of not being here, his prestige had declined. Renjiro's beautiful eyes turned, immediately smiled at Yi Tianyun and said, Brother, use your ability to scare them. Renlong looked at his sister curiously, not knowing what his sister wanted to do. Yi Tianyun shrugged his shoulders helplessly and took a step forward. He reached out his hand, and a layer of protective shield instantly covered his body. The familiar heavenly dragon's power was released in all directions, and everyone was shocked by the power that he unleashed. Renlong was shocked, because Renjiro did not tell Renlong about this matter. Looking at the shocked expression of the crowd, Renjiro chuckled. This result seemed to be what she wanted to see. Strength was good, but it was not as shocking as this. Chapter 406. Brother E, you can control the secret treasure of the heavenly dragon? Renlong's eyes were filled with shock, and he immediately stood up from his throne, followed by ecstasy. As long as they were on the same side, being able to control the secret treasure of the heavenly dragon was a great benefit to them, as it meant that they would be able to release more power. The entire secret treasure of the heavenly dragon had a spiritual vein here, so there was no need to worry about the lack of spiritual power. The biggest problem was how to release the power of the secret treasure of the heavenly dragon. This is... Gan Yun smiled faintly and said, because you were outside, I didn't tell you about it. I thought Jiro would tell me, but she didn't. Little sister, Renlong glared at her. Such a big matter, yet she didn't say it out loud. I just wanted to tell you about it later. I didn't expect to say it here. This is our trump card. Who knew that these people didn't recognize Brother Yi's strength? Renjiro smiled. Many people gradually recovered from the shock. They didn't expect that someone who could control the secret treasure of the heavenly dragon would appear out of nowhere. They all knew the power of the secret treasure of the heavenly dragon, so if one more person could use it, the power would be unimaginable. The most important thing was that there had always been a rule that whoever was recognized by the secret treasure of the heavenly dragon would become one of the successors. Even if they couldn't become the great emperor in the future, at least they could become a general. According to this situation, there is no problem for Yi Tianyun to become a king, and it is not a problem at all. Does he also have the blood of the Ren family? Yes. Does he have the blood of the heavenly dragon? If that's the case, then I don't have any problem with him becoming a prince. They were a little speechless and didn't know what to say. They were guessing whether Yi Tianyun was a member of the Ren family or an illegitimate child. Perhaps he was an illegitimate child, or perhaps he was related to the Ren family. All along, only the Ren family could control the secret treasure of the heavenly dragon, which was why they had such speculation. In any case, their opposition was basically gone. This was equivalent to a kind of recognition, which was more practical than any kind of meritorious deed. Because if he could control the secret treasure of the heavenly dragon, why would he worry about not making a contribution? Being able to control the heavenly dragon's secret treasure was already a great achievement. At that time, Renlong's contributions were not considered great, and he was much weaker than Long Zai. However, he was able to control the heavenly dragon's secret treasure, which allowed him to successfully ascend to the throne of the great emperor. Things were just that casual. This was just like the spiritual king path. If one passed the test, one would become a spiritual king. If one didn't pass, no matter how powerful one's talent was, one could only be an elder and not a spiritual king. I wonder if Brother E is willing to become my heavenly dragon empire's king? Renlong asked with a faint smile. Big Brother Ren, this is my honor. Of course, Yi Tianyun was very happy. Becoming a prince of the heavenly dragon empire was very beneficial to him. How could he not be happy? Then from today onwards, Brother E is the king of my heavenly dragon empire. The mansion in the north of the heavenly dragon imperial capital will be King Yi's residence. Renlong immediately announced the reward. Other than giving him a title, he also gave him a residence. Greetings, King Yi. One by one they shouted. Although they were somewhat helpless, they could only obey. The power was there and the rules were there. They could only admit it. This matter has come to an end for the time being. Now that King Yi can control the heavenly dragon's secret treasure, even if Prime Minister Long attacks us, we have a good chance of winning. At least we will be invincible. Renlong said solemnly. One by one, the ministers became serious, and some of them were a little confused. Will Prime Minister Long really attack us? He is the uncle of the great emperor. How could he do such a thing? As for colluding with the Netherworld Empire, that is unlikely. Prime Minister Long is a famous butcher of the Netherworld Empire. He has killed too many invaders. Since they didn't have much evidence, They all felt that it wasn't very possible and were all skeptical. Feng Long and his 6 brothers are undoubtedly Prime Minister Long's people. Even if he did not collude with the Netherworld Empire, this is enough to sentence him to death. Nominally, he is my uncle, but we are not related by blood. Even if we are related by blood, he will not be able to escape the death penalty. Ren Long said in a cold voice. The ministers looked at each other in dismay. Feng Long's 6 brothers were really Prime Minister Long's capable subordinates. If they could do such a thing, it could only be said that there was no other way. When they continued to discuss, a guard rushed in from outside and shouted, "Not good! Not good! Not good! Prime Minister Long is leading an army. Among them is the Netherworld Empire's Imperial Preceptor." Everyone was shocked when they heard this. The Imperial Preceptor of the Netherworld Empire is here. Are you sure you are not mistaken? Ren Long asked. I am absolutely not mistaken. It is the Imperial Preceptor of the Netherworld Empire. There are several flags fluttering beside him. He is flying side by side with Prime Minister Long. Almost all of the armies are heading here, whether it's the Netherworld Empire or our Netherworld Empire, they're all heading here. The spy who reported the news was specialized in collecting intelligence, so naturally he knew what the Imperial Preceptor looked like. This bastard really colluded with the Netherworld Empire. Prepare for battle. Ren Long said angrily. Yes, Prime Minister Long. The ministers shouted in unison. Their eyes were filled with anger. Their previous speculations had turned into anger. Originally, they had some hope for Prime Minister Long, but now it seemed that everything was an illusion. Prime Minister Long was a traitor. Let's go out of the city gate and wait for their arrival. Ren Long nodded and took the lead to fly out of the city. Yi Tianyun and Ren Jiro flew out together with Ren Long. Soon, they reached the towering city wall of the imperial capital. When they looked into the distance, they could vaguely see a group of black dots flying towards them. There were a lot of experts coming towards them. It was obvious that the entire army was dispatched. This was a battle to the death. Either the Heavenly Dragon imperial capital would fall, or Prime Minister Long would be completely defeated. Activate the Heavenly Dragon Grand Array. Ren Long began to mobilize the power of the Heavenly Dragon secret treasure. Soon, the entire imperial capital began to shake. Rays of light emerged from the ground and quickly enveloped the entire imperial capital, forming a thick protective shield that suddenly became impregnable and unbreakable. Brother Yi, I don't want to talk too much. This time, we will need your help to deal with these rebels. Ren Long said with his eyes filled with fighting spirit. Brother, have you forgotten about me? Ren Jiro said with a bright smile. Of course not, but Brother Yi has just joined our Heavenly Dragon Empire and we are already in such a predicament. If the imperial capital really falls, Brother Yi, take my sister and run away. Ren Long said solemnly. Brother. Ren Jiro was just about to say something when Yi Tianyun interrupted. Chapter 407. It was undeniable that the Imperial Preceptor's strength was quite amazing. It could be said that the Imperial Preceptor was much stronger than them. However, they had the Heavenly Dragon secret treasure, which could suppress the other party. Even if their side fell, they had to kill the other party. However, Yi Tianyun didn't think that he would lose. Seeing so many Heavenly Dragon secret treasures, he would be able to gain a lot of experience points. If he killed all of them, his experience points would skyrocket. As long as he continued to break through, he wouldn't be afraid of the Imperial Preceptor. Yes, it's too early to say these words. Let them know that no matter how weak our Heavenly Dragon Empire is, it's not easy to deal with them. Ren Long's cultivation had dropped significantly. Even if Yi Tianyun replenished his blood chi with the blood jade, it would be too late for him to improve his cultivation. This was a problem that had plagued him for many years, causing his cultivation to decline. If he wanted to return to his original peak, he would need to cultivate for at least a few years before he could completely recover. At present, it seemed that their overall combat strength was relatively average. It could be said that they didn't have a single Void Spirit stage cultivator. However, there were a lot of core transformation stage cultivators and above. There were a lot of core transformation stage cultivators, but it was very difficult to reach Void Spirit stage. Even the Netherworld Empire only had a few Void Spirit stage cultivators. The main reason why they didn't have many Void Spirit stage cultivators was because they were all on Prime Minister Long's side. One was Prime Minister Long, and the other was Divine General Long Tian. Both of them were facing each other. Whether it was the number of Void Spirit stage cultivators or the overall combat strength, Prime Minister Long was much stronger. Now, with the arrival of the Imperial Teacher, there are a total of 3 Void Spirit stage powerhouses. Such a luxurious lineup is really terrifying. Soon, Prime Minister Long and the Imperial Preceptor arrived. The 3 people in front of them were Prime Minister Long, the Imperial Preceptor, and Divine General Long Tian. Tianyun glanced at them and their detailed data appeared in front of him. Prime Minister Long, 4th level Void Spirit stage. Wearing high-grade sacred armor. Combat power, 21 million, normal state. Weaknesses, none. Martial arts, Heavenly Dragon Battle Roar, Heavenly Dragon Battle Art, Netherworld Divine Palm, Netherworld Divine Art, etc. Drops Heavenly Dragon Battle Roar, Heavenly Dragon Battle Art, Dragon God Bloodline, 30x EXP card, etc. State Teacher, 6th level of Void Spirit stage, wearing high-grade Sacred Artifact Battle Armor, surrounded by high-grade Sacred Artifact Dragon Subduing Flag. Combat power, 32 million, normal state. Weaknesses, none. The martial arts he knew were the God-breaking art and the Netherworld Divine Palm. Can drop Netherworld Divine Palm, Broken God Art, Tyrant Rune Paper, etc. Divine General Long Tian, 2nd level of Void Spirit stage. Equipped with high-grade Sacred Artifact Battle Armor. Wielding high-grade Sacred Artifact Divine Sword. Combat power, 18 million, normal state. Weaknesses, none. The Demon Subduing Sword Art, 100 swords piercing the sky, and so on. Can drop Demon Subduing Sword Art, Dragon God Bloodline, Dragon God Sword, etc. Each and every one of them is extremely strong, especially the State Teacher's cultivation is even more astonishing. Even without using any power, the State Teacher's battle power is as high as 32 million, which is simply heaven-defying. Divine General Long Tian could see that these high-grade Sage artifacts had too many bonuses. His cultivation is 2 levels lower than Prime Minister Long, but the difference in battle power is not big. The main thing is that he has a weapon in his hand, which instantly increases his battle power by several million. The power of a Sage artifact is too strong, and it's a high-grade Sage artifact. If it's a divine artifact, it's estimated that a divine artifact can superimpose tens of millions of battle power. In addition to the 3 of them, there are a group of generals and ministers following behind them. All of them are in the core transformation stage, followed by the spirit core stage, and finally the lowest level soldiers, but none of them are weak, all of them are from spirit refinement to core condensation stage. Although the cultivation of these soldiers is very low, they have the advantage in numbers. Besieging the city from all directions, they have a great decisive effect. On Tianyun's side, the ministers have also led the army to the city wall. Some of them are already standing guard outside the city gate, preparing for a war. When Prime Minister Long and the others are still a kilometer away from the city, they stopped in the air, and the people behind them also stopped. "My nephew, I haven't seen you for a long time, I thought you were dead." Prime Minister Long is handsome and has the aura of a king. It's a pity that he can't get the recognition of the Heavenly Dragon secret treasure, otherwise the Heavenly Dragon Empire would be under his control. "Don't worry, even if you die, I won't die," Ren Long said coldly. "As the Prime Minister of the Heavenly Dragon Empire, you actually colluded with the Netherworld Empire. Not only do you want to harm me, you are also a traitor. Are you worthy of the Heavenly Dragon Empire?" "I am worthy of the Heavenly Dragon Empire?" Prime Minister Long laughed a few times, then his face immediately sank. "It's the Heavenly Dragon Empire that has wronged me. Why am I not better than you? I am better than you in terms of talent, and I am also better than you in terms of political ability. But because of a trivial bloodline problem, I can't get the recognition of the heavenly dragon's secret treasure, so I can't become a great emperor. It's ridiculous. Prime Minister Long's words are very sarcastic. No matter how good one is, as long as the bloodline is not suitable, they will still be kicked out. This is indeed not very fair, but letting you become the Prime Minister is tantamount to making up for it. Most of the power is in your hands. But you still chose to betray the heavenly dragon's secret treasure. You even tried to kill me to extract my blood essence so that you can get the recognition of the heavenly dragon's secret treasure. If father and mother were here, they would definitely not forgive you. No matter how much I make up for it, I am not an emperor. The so-called control of the heavenly dragon's secret treasure is nothing more than to absorb the blood essence of the heavenly dragon's secret treasure. I didn't absorb too much blood essence, which led to this result. If I absorb a little more blood essence, I can still get the recognition of the heavenly dragon's secret treasure. Don't think too much. Yun interrupted and pointed his finger at his chest. Even if your blood essence is pure, the heavenly dragon's secret treasure won't recognize you, and it won't recognize you. As a divine artifact, the heavenly dragon's secret treasure has a certain degree of spiritual wisdom. It doesn't recognize you because your heavenly dragon blood is not strong enough, but because your heart is too black. If you had become a great emperor, I think you would have made the heavenly dragon empire belong to the Netherworld Empire. Am I right? According to Tianyun's words, it means that Prime Minister Long has always been a spy of the Netherworld Empire. From the beginning, they all thought that Prime Minister Long's betrayal was entirely due to the fact that he was ignored by the Netherworld Empire. According to Tianyun's words, it means that Prime Minister Long has been a person of the Netherworld Empire for a long time. Chapter 408. Tianyun's voice wasn't loud, but it could be heard by everyone. Everyone looked at him and Prime Minister Long. His words were so rude, and he wasn't talking about the bloodline, but the heavenly dragon's secret treasure that could identify Prime Minister Long as a traitor. If that's the case, then it's really amazing. What's so special about the heavenly dragon's secret treasure? Tianyun was talking nonsense because he saw that Prime Minister Long had mastered the Netherworld Divine Palm and the Netherworld Divine Art. These two techniques belonged to the Netherworld Great Emperor. If he wasn't one of the Netherworld Great Emperor's trusted aides, then how could he practice these two techniques? Why didn't Divine General Long learn them? And why didn't General Feng and the others practice them? The only possibility was that Prime Minister Long had always been a member of the Netherworld Empire, and he was very close to the Netherworld Great Emperor. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to practice these two techniques. Boy, who are you? Prime Minister Long looked at him coldly. Is it important who I am? Tianyun said indifferently. You are just a spy sent by the Netherworld Empire from the beginning. Why are you acting like the Heavenly Dragon Empire owes you? From the beginning, it was a mistake for you to stay in the Heavenly Dragon Empire. Prime Minister Long's eyes shrunk as if he was hit by something. In the imperial capital, many people were shouting and glaring at Prime Minister Long. The meaning of the two was different. Even if the Heavenly Dragon Empire conquered the imperial capital, they would inevitably resist. Nonsense. If you didn't force me, how could I do such a thing? Prime Minister Long sneered. I have had enough of the unfair treatment of the Ren family. I want to overthrow the stubborn faction of the Ren family and build a fair and just Heavenly Dragon Empire in the future. As long as one has the ability, he or she will be qualified to lead the Heavenly Dragon Empire. It's not because of some bullshit bloodline that he can sit in this position. Prime Minister Long's words made the eyes of the generals behind him light up. Even the cultivators in the imperial capital were shocked. This was indeed the reason why the Ren family was recognized by the Heavenly Dragon Empire. They had made so many contributions, but they couldn't compete with the power of bloodline. It has to be said that Prime Minister Long's fanning skill is very strong. It's not without reason that so many powerhouses chose to stand on his side. He must have given them more benefits or promises, otherwise, why would they stand on Prime Minister Long's side? You're the one spouting nonsense. Ren Long said coldly, I admit that I'm inferior to you in all aspects, but that's because you're a bit older than me, that's why there's a gap. How could the person who could control the heavenly dragon's secret treasure be weak? Furthermore, our Ren family does not stick to a single pattern when it comes to using people. As long as their standard is high enough, we will put them in an important position. Let me ask the officials on our side, has our Ren family ever mistreated you? The clan leader of the Hua family nodded. The Ren family did not mistreat them indeed. They even treated them very well. They were fair in their rewards and punishments. They would never act recklessly. As for the position of the great emperor, this has always been the rule of the Heavenly Dragon Empire. Don't forget how the Heavenly Dragon Empire rose to power. He relied on the power of this bloodline to rise to power. Moreover, if the previous great emperor saw that the Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure was not something he could control, how could he be at ease? Renlong said in a deep voice, "We have thought about this a long time ago. It's not that we are stubborn, but the Heavenly Dragon Empire chose us." The late emperor had mentioned this before. If I were a mediocre person who knew nothing, the throne of the great emperor would never have been mine. Instead, I will let someone else do it, for example. In the end, it seems that I won with the power of my bloodline, but did we really mistreat you? You are too ambitious. The late emperor said that you are too ambitious, and I hope that everything is just an illusion. Whether we forced you or you are a spy, you led the people of the Netherworld Empire to besiege the imperial capital, which caused the Heavenly Dragon Empire to fall into the flames of war. This is simply outrageous. Renlong vented out all the anger in his heart. He was completely exasperated with the fact that they didn't meet his expectations. He was really angry about this. No matter what the reason was, the imperial preceptor of the Netherworld Empire was here, and no matter what the reason was, it was already considered as treason. You said that you were forced to lead the Netherworld Empire to attack the Heavenly Dragon Empire? If I don't do this, will you give up the position of the Great Emperor to me? Prime Minister Long sneered. I would rather give up the position of the Great Emperor than let the Heavenly Dragon Empire fall into the flames of war. I don't want to see the generals kill each other. Renlong said decisively. I don't want the Netherworld Empire to benefit from this. Renlong's words shocked many people. Is he really willing to give up the position of the Great Emperor? Even the generals on Prime Minister Long's side were deeply shocked. Prime Minister Long's face sank. Originally, he just wanted to suppress the public opinion so that the morale of the army would fall into chaos, but he didn't expect that the other party would turn the tables on him. Regardless of whether he was forced or not, he had already made a mistake, a huge mistake at that. It was like robbing people because they were too poor. Brother Long, why are you talking so much with them? You just want to reduce the pressure on the Heavenly Dragon Empire so that you can manage it better. The Imperial Preceptor's eyes flashed with murderous light as he said, "The winner is the king, and the loser is the thief. You have been here for too long, and your heart has softened." Prime Minister Long had a complicated look on his face, but he quickly calmed down and said, "It seems that I have been here for too long, and my heart has softened. In that case, kill all of them. Let's overthrow the Heavenly Dragon Empire and become the great emperor of the Heavenly Dragon Empire." An extremely cold light pierced through the air. Its speed was so fast that before Prime Minister Long could react, it was already in front of them. The Imperial Preceptor, who had the strongest cultivation, immediately reacted. He waved the flag floating beside him and moved forward to block the attack. In an instant, he constructed a large array in the air to block the cold light. Boom! Accompanied by an earth-shattering noise, a burst of extremely cold air rolled towards them and wrapped them in it. The generals around them didn't even have time to react before they were frozen by the cold air. 1 or 2 core transformation stage experts didn't even have time to react before they were frozen into ice sculptures. Then he fell from the sky, and with a pung sound, he was smashed into powder, completely dead. Chapter 409. While everyone was immersed in a bunch of explanations, Tianyun already attacked, and his overbearing attack instantly killed 2 core transformation experts. The overbearing power of Yi Tianyun woke up many people from their stupor. Now that they thought about it carefully, they realized that Yi Tianyun was right. The imperial preceptor of the Netherworld Empire was standing right next to them. How could they just come over for a cup of tea and then leave? Of course, it was impossible. They were here to attack the Heavenly Dragon Empire. They didn't want to give up and the other side didn't want to leave. So there was no need to talk nonsense. Who is this kid? The Imperial Master frowned. He didn't know when the Heavenly Dragon Empire had such a strong cultivator. The flags he released were fine, but their defense was obviously shaken. If the Heavenly Dragon Empire had a stronger cultivator, they would have been able to break their defense. Even after blocking the attack, a shockwave spread in all directions. 2 core transformation stage powerhouses were immediately killed, not to mention the rest of the spirit core stage powerhouses. This power was truly shocking. No one knew when the Heavenly Dragon Empire had such an expert. I don't know. I don't think this kid is simple. Let's kill him first. Prime Minister Long's face was filled with an ominous glint. Let's see if you can resist our attack. Everyone roared and rushed towards the Heavenly Dragon Empire. Although Ren Long said so much, they didn't waver in their determination to attack the Heavenly Dragon Empire. Especially the people of the Netherworld Empire, they wouldn't show any mercy. The Heavenly Dragon Empire was a new territory for them. It was their time to make a contribution to the Netherworld Empire. Under Yi Tianyun's sharp arrow, the war immediately broke out, no longer confronting each other. Many generals in the city were already in high spirits, and their eyes were red as they faced the people of the Netherworld Empire. I didn't want to say anything to them. If they want to shake the morale of my army, I will refute them. Ren Long sneered. If I didn't want to shake the morale of my army, I would have already rushed forward. A group of traitors. Prepare for battle and prepare to defend against their attacks. We don't need to be in such a hurry to move out. Ren Long said solemnly, Archers, get ready. Shoot them down ruthlessly. Groups of archers immediately stood outside the city walls, holding longbows forged from low-grade soul armaments in their hands. They aimed at the charging army and drew their bowstrings, preparing to attack. Fire! Swish, swish, swish! Tens of thousands of sharp arrows shot out, forming a dense rain of arrows in the air, piercing towards them. There was no way to dodge. The general leading the charge quickly waved a fierce attack, blocking the countless arrows. Many of them were blocked, but there were still many arrows that fell, piercing through the soldiers that were charging at them. The ground was immediately dyed red by large patches of blood. The smell of blood quickly filled the area, but this did not scare them away. Instead, it aroused their fighting spirit. Little sister, let's go first. Ren Long's eyes flashed and he clenched his fist. The power of the entire Heavenly Dragon Empire trembled. Following that, a terrifying power rose up from the ground and a light pillar emerged from the ground. Following that, a 20 to 30 meter long Heavenly Dragon condensed from the light pillar. Without any hesitation, the Heavenly Dragon rushed towards the army. This was the effect of the Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure. It could summon a huge Heavenly Dragon to fight against the enemy. Although the Heavenly Dragon was condensed from spiritual power, the light yellow dragon scales on it looked so real. With a roar, the Heavenly Dragon rushed towards the core transformation stage cultivators. The power of this Heavenly Dragon was not weak. It was at least at the 7th level of the core transformation stage. Although it could not defeat a void spirit stage cultivator, it could not die. As long as the energy of the Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure was not depleted and the array was not broken, the Heavenly Dragon would never die. This was the scary part of the Heavenly Dragon's secret treasure. It could exist for a long time, and no attack would be able to stop it. Roar! Soon after, another Heavenly Dragon rushed out from the pillar of light. This Heavenly Dragon was obviously much smaller. It was only about 20 meters long, much smaller than the previous one. This Heavenly Dragon was not summoned by Ren Long, it was summoned by Renjiro. The Heavenly Dragons summoned by different cultivators were different in size and cultivation. Each person could only summon one Heavenly Dragon. That was why the more people who could control the heavenly dragon's secret treasure, the better. The two heavenly dragons rushed into the crowd of soldiers and slapped them with their huge claws. Many soldiers were killed by the claws of the heavenly dragon's secret treasure. These two heavenly dragons were enough to kill a lot of soldiers. Heavenly dragon, quick run. Our attacks are useless. Our attacks can't hurt it at all. Help! Help! The soldiers screamed in pain. They were so scared that they threw away their helmets and armors. None of them dared to attack the heavenly dragons. Suddenly, the soldiers in both areas retreated. They did not dare to get close to the heavenly dragons. Mere worms, how dare you be so impudent? Imperial Preceptor sneered, and the flags around him flew out rapidly, forming a circle of light that enveloped one of the sky dragons in an instant. No matter how the sky dragon tried to break out of the circle of light, it was unable to break out of the circle of light. In fact, the circle of light was getting tighter and tighter. The area of its struggle was getting smaller and smaller, and it could only let out continuous roars. Following that, two more flags flew to the side, trapping the other sky dragon. It was unable to struggle out at all. In a short while, the two heaven dragons were trapped and unable to come out. These two heavenly dragons could not die, but it did not mean that they could not be trapped. As long as the heavenly dragon did not completely collapse, they would not be able to summon another heavenly dragon. He had completely suppressed the two heavenly dragons, making them unable to defend themselves. Many people in the imperial capital were shocked when they saw this. The so-called immortal heavenly dragons were captured just like that. If this continued, the only thing left to do was to break through the shield. Once the shield was broken, they would have to face a great army. You two little fellows, do you think we're like a bunch of hotheads? Do you think we'll just charge over and be done with it? I will take good care of you. This power will no longer belong to you, it will belong to me. Prime Minister Long sneered. This is the dragon subduing flag. It is specially made to subdue dragons. The Imperial Master really came prepared. Rin Long's face darkened. The heavenly dragons they summoned were immediately suppressed. The morale of the Imperial Master was greatly boosted. It turns out that the dragon subduing flag has such a strong effect. Now I understand. Yi Tianyun smiled. Let's see how many heavenly dragons he can subdue. Then his eyes flashed, and the whole heavenly dragon imperial capital trembled violently. A beam of light soared into the sky, followed by a 50 to 60 meters long heavenly dragon. The tyrannical power of the heavenly dragon pressed down on the surroundings. Void Spirit Stage First Level. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.